athletes, two all-time greats in Luka and LeBron, and they got bounced in 5.
But of course they did. Their team's not that good, and their coach isn't that good.
So hold on, let me stop you there.
Execution,
I don't understand.
Excellent.
So you finished 3rd in the conference. Is that just a fluke, or is that?
It's different now.
We've had 82 games, like you said. Power rankings are the standings.
Yeah.
So the Lakers were 3rd in the power rankings in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean they're not good?
They're not good compared to Minnesota. They were outclassed in all of their weaknesses when you play a best-of-7 series. I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
I know everything. Yeah.
You know, and your weaknesses are magnified. Last night, that was ludicrous the way Rudy Gobert, who's a fine player. Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I don't know if you are. That's neither here nor there. But obviously, you know, he's an excellent player. He was dominating the game last night. And Drapes, he wasn't doing anything except getting a rebound and putting it back in.
Like, to me, the story is how J.J. Redick botched that.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying.
The coach, that's the story.
Maybe put somebody big in to keep him from
to not play
like
a center at all. Yeah. And then you come with Maxi Kleber, who hadn't played all season for you.
Where was Alex Len?
Right. Where was Alex Len? So to me, like, that's a colossal failure for the Lakers this season. Monumental. And I understand they'll say, well, the Luka trade is for the future. And I get that. You know, the Luka trade helps you, you know, bridge after LeBron leaves. But to get bounced in 5, shout out to Minnesota.
Yes.
Because I think, too, what we're seeing, and whether it's 3 through 5, 6, 7, even, I'm going to throw Memphis in there, there's not that much difference. You know, Minnesota, finished a game behind the Lakers, game and a half, 2. Like, we should have probably put more respect on Minnesota going in.
Coming together.
Yeah.
And I'll give you some credit because when they made the trade for Julius Randle, I thought, and you said, you know, I think it could work. And watching the game last night, I was thinking of you. I was like, wow, that's really working. I was also thinking, man, down the stretch, Minnesota is so well coached. I love Finchie and Elston. You know, Corliss is over there. But then watch the game, I realized, yeah, the coaching's fine, but those guys played really smart down the stretch.
Yeah.
And I think he injured his calf. And then after that, he had no lift and he couldn't shoot. And so he was not driving to the basket and he wasn't forcing shots. And they were letting Julius Randle go to the basket. They played really smart down the stretch of that game. Coaches deserve some credit, but the players deserve most of the credit.
Yeah. And, you know, looking at that game, watching that game, and then following up, looking at the stats, it's clear Minnesota's a more complete team than what the Lakers are. Like,
yes, sir.
The Lakers are an incomplete basketball team where their 2 stars have to be great for them to win. Shout out to Rui Hachimura. He balled out. He was trying to do his best, but they don't have the depth. They didn't have the size. I don't even know how many offensive rebounds Minnesota got, but I think 19, was the number.
I know the Wolves out-rebounded the Lakers 54-37. Points in the paint was 56-40. And Minnesota on their threes, they were 7 for 47, and they won the game.
Won it without hitting a 3 ball. It was they gashed him on the interior.
Yes, Rudy with 27 and 24. And it's like, you should have realized, you know, when he was like, 14 and 11 or something. Like, wow, we got to do something about that. And J.J. Redick just didn't.
18 offensive rebounds last night for Minnesota. Second chance points, 20-10. It was so bad, Whitey. My son Nick, who thinks Rudy Gobert is a punchline, was watching the game and Gobert threw it down. He got my guy Rudy, and then he stopped. He was like, oh no, I'm actually giving, like Shaq did, I'm actually giving Rudy Gobert props. They made him look like prime Wilt Chamberlain last night. And
they did. They literally did.
You don't use a center until, and Maxi Kleber ain't even a center. I'm not even calling him a center. You got Jackson Hayes. I'm not saying Jackson Hayes is good. You got Alex Len, our boy. But damn. Once you realize Rudy is dominating and rebounding is an issue, you got to make a change, right?
Yes.
Yeah, JJ went out like a sucker. Like he was pretty bad this series, I think. He got out-coached.
What'd you think of the pregame
scuffle? I get it. The question should have been asked different.
The question was very disrespectful.
It really was.
But it was like, Oh, man.
Right. There's a way to phrase it where it doesn't come across as that.
Yeah.
You know, it's but it was like, you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
Rely on some of these, you know. And so
the question literally, because Kyle just played it, was like, do you have coaches or anybody that can help you make decisions on who's going to play?
Right.
And then watching Coach Reddick's face as he realized what the guy was saying, he's like, wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. It's for them to flame out talking about the Lakers like they did. And I'll say this, you know, everybody knows I'm a LeBron guy. I like LeBron. He looked old. Like he can't carry you anymore. And Luka
Possibly because his coach was playing him an awful lot of minutes.
Right. It's like burning him out. Like, I get it. It's LeBron and everything, but no 40-year-old should be playing 46 minutes the other game when you got a game 48 hours later. What are we doing? So, yeah, it was shout out to Minnesota, though. And I know you saw the video of Ant walking the streets of L.A.
Yeah.
He walked from the arena back to the hotel. I know that street really well. And, dude, it was great to see. Like, no other players doing that and walking the streets of L.A. after kicking the Lakers' butt, man. Shout out to Ant on that.
Yeah, and he deserves most of the credit because he's the best player. That team has come together.
Yes.
And wasn't it last year that they had Gobert was fighting with Kyle Anderson?
Yeah.
And the team was splintering.
And even early this season, they underachieved. But you're right. They started coming together over the last month of the season. And actually, I got a question now. Does Julius Randle get re-signed? He's a free agent. I think you got to bring him back because I think it does actually work. Randle was dominant last night.
It all depended on him and whether he wanted to make it work, and he decided he did. And he said, I told him, you be great all game long, but if, I'm there if you need me. And that's exactly what happened last night.
Yeah, Julius Randle, 23 points. 4 assists. That might be a season high for him. Randle with 4 assists. And so Minnesota's is crazy because we could see Golden State knock off Houston, and the number 2 and 3 seeds in the West could be done after the first round.
Right. Although that series ain't over yet either.
Ain't over yet.
I know it was 3-1, and everyone's like, 3-1. Where's he going to win? Man, that was a little stunning last night. Not that Houston won, but that the Warriors were like, no show.
Yeah, and the Warriors bench tried to make it interesting, had to bring back. But I thought Houston showed a lot. But it sort of reminds me, you remember, I think you might have been in Golden State at the time when Memphis blew them out by like 50 or something like that in the playoff series they had. Then the Warriors came back and handled business. If you're Golden State, you can't play around with Game 6. You going back to Houston for a Game 7, you in some trouble. Jimmy Butler's not moving well. And so to your point, that series ain't over.
No.
That series not over at all. Yeah.
We got 2 more games tonight.
Yeah, who we got tonight?
So now we got Detroit and the Knicks. So we'll either get a Game 7 or a clincher.
A massive one.
Then we got your Nuggets.
Looking to close out the Clippers. In L.A., though. In L.A., I believe. And that should be 2 great games, hotly contested games. I'm pro Detroit in that first matchup. And then I don't like the Clippers either. I'll say that, but I hate Denver, so I'm looking for the Clippers to win.
How come you don't like the Clippers, if I may ask?
I'm not a Kawhi guy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not a Kawhi. I mean, he's all right, but 3 games ago, everybody's like, oh, this guy is the best thing, and a top 20 player, and he scares everybody. He had 20 points in a blowout loss. So I'm not necessarily a Kawhi guy.
To the point you made earlier, I understand it that a team like the Lakers, there's the brand is so popular.
Yeah.
When they're out in the first round, it's a big thing, especially when they're out in 5 games. But in the West, there's going to be at least 2 teams that are going to be joining them that are going to be out in the first round of the West, and we'll be going, wow, how'd that happen? There's just too many good teams in the West.
And some big names, man, that are going to be out. Think about it. Steph Curry and LeBron and Luka could all be out.
Yeah.
Here, John Morant's out. Like, it's so many big names in the Western Conference. And like I said, too, the teams aren't separated by that much. Like, after OKC, and I'll throw Houston a little bit because they did separate themselves from the Lakers, but 3 through 8 was tight. 2 games, 3 games, Whitey, if that. So, yeah, it's anybody can win and beat each other. in the Western Conference.
Yeah, we found out today when Doug Christie's press conference is, so we'll tell you what's going on there as we get ready for that. Also, again, looking at the Warriors and how Steve Kerr's complaining about a rule in the NBA, says it's idiotic. Next is the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, when the A's beat the Rangers in Arlington to kick off the most recent road trip, with J.P. Sears getting his 4th win, the A's improved to 15-14, the latest in a season they've been over 500 since 2021. Can they contend this year? Well, as we close the book on April, the American League West is the tightest division in baseball. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Gurrington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Sky River Casino, Hop Valley Brewing, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Doug Christie media conference tomorrow with Scott Perry, right? I'm sure Kyle Draper will be there in the front row.
I probably won't attend tomorrow, actually. Yeah, I got some other things going on, so I probably will not be there tomorrow. Thinking about it, I'm on the fence, thinking about moving some things around. Tomorrow's a busy day for Drape, so I may not be there tomorrow.
I'm more interested in more questions for Scott Perry than, for Doug. It's like, that's great. Congratulations. Hey, Scott, what's going on with the team? That's
what would you ask Scott Perry if you had the chance?
I'd say, try to tie it into Doug. Obviously Coach Christie's success is going to hinge on who's on the roster. Scott, would you say anybody on this roster is untouchable in your opinion?
Oh, that's how you would. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
get his camera right, Jay. What you doing, big fella? We're a visual medium.
I have to turn it off.
We make our money not only with our voices but with our faces as well. Jay was adjusting the camera.
Yes. Thank you, Jay. The other big question is who's going to be on the staff, right?
Yes.
People are wondering, is that why Kyle Draper's not there tomorrow? Is he negotiating to be on Doug Christie's staff?
Hey,
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Doug has my phone number. If he needs me on the staff, he knows how to holler at me. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that's one of the questions for Doug tomorrow, at the press conference. Have you thought about who's going to be on your staff and any names or anything like anybody from this current regime going to be a holdover, if you will, on the staff? That's a question, I'd want to, hear Doug answer.
I don't know what their contractual situations are, so I can't tamper anyway. I have nothing to do with it. But watching the Timberwolves last night, I'm wondering about Elston. Love Elston.
Yep.
Corliss. People wonder. You can't help but wonder about Bobby Jackson.
Yeah, Bobby Jackson.
But you know how we are as fans. We think, get everybody back together. And, in reality, it doesn't necessarily work that way.
I'm intrigued by Bobby Jackson, though. I think, when you look at the identity that the Kings are trying to accomplish and grow here. I think Bobby fits in with that. Not sure of his situation in Philly. I think he's still under contract.
Bobby played hard.
Right. Hard-nosed, tough player, played hard, Isn't
it funny? I know you've watched basketball a long time. You'd think everybody plays hard, but they don't. There's some guys that think they're playing hard and they're not.
Right.
And there's guys like Bobby who okay, that's playing hard.
He's playing hard. Yeah. So I would love to see him come back and join Doug's staff, because here's what I know about Bobby just from watching him. He had some success in the G League, the Summer League team. He's going to shoot it straight with the players. If you're dogging, if you're not playing hard out there, he's going to call you out on it. You know what I mean? He's not going to sugarcoat it or tiptoe or anything like that. And I think, that's something we need on the staff this upcoming season.
I don't know if we'll get any answers to any of those questions tomorrow about the coaching staff, but at least things are moving forward. And there's a lot of speculation about what the Kings might do, what other teams may be doing. And we'll look at some of that today. We have Anthony Slater coming up bottom of the hour. And I just want to swing back to the Warriors there. I wanted to know what you thought of this. And I know it's hard to get your bias and put it aside.
Yeah.
But the Rockets are having a lot of success with Steph Curry. I think most of that's because of their defense and Amen Thompson, he's incredible. But they're not denying that they are, giving Steph Curry a whack on his follow-through, which is legal.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally legal. Steve Kerr said after the game, he's like, he says it's an idiotic rule, but it is the rule. Do you think it's a rule the NBA should look at? And the rule is, the high five.
Yeah, high five.
If Kyle shoots and I whack him on the hand after the ball's already released, it's legal. Dylan Brooks was asked about, are you doing that? He said, I'm playing ball. I'm doing, I'm doing what I'm allowed to do.
I think the rule is fine as is, I would beg to say that I'm sure Steve Kerr teaches his guys the high five contest also. Every team does it.
Yeah, it's totally legal.
It's totally legal. And I'm okay with Dylan Brooks or whoever targeting that. If you out on the floor, anything's fair game, as long as you play within the rules of the game. And, if a player has a bum ankle, let's say, and he's guarding you, I'm running him around screens.
That example.
Himself. I'm running him around. I'm sprinting. I'm making him shift on that ankle and it's just gamesmanship. And so Steve needs to stop whining and trying to protect his star. He's whining. Steph Curry is fine. Steph was even asked, is it, or I think Steve was asked, is it affecting him? No, it's not affecting him. Give Houston credit. They're doing a hell of a job on Steph Curry.
Pretty sure it's affecting him. Have you seen it?
No, I'm talking to the contest. The hand is affecting them.
Yeah.
But them, the high five contest isn't affecting how he plays or anything like that. So
I think it's a bad rule. I think it's, again, we agree. What the Rockets are doing is totally legal. And you'd have to wonder why, if they weren't doing it, you have to wonder, why aren't you? So I get it. But it's funny to me that if I accidentally step under a player when he's shooting, accidentally, I could be charged with a flagrant. But if he lets the ball go and I can, that's legal. I think that's something that should be looked at as far as this series goes. I don't think that's the key factor there. And as we've said, the Warriors, if they don't take care of their business tomorrow,
yes,
who knows? The league could be losing the Lakers and the Warriors in the first round, maybe even the Knicks.
I'm all for it. Send them all home. Get them all out of here. It's time for some new blood out there. Regarding the Warriors in that game tomorrow against Houston, I actually think Houston's done a great job defensively these last few games.
Oh, they have. Yeah,
it's their offense. It's Jalen Green. It's guys stepping up. It's their offense, which is the issue. And so I fully expect Jalen Green to have a big game back at home, crowd behind him, coming off a nice win. I think this thing is going 7. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Butler, he's hobbled. He looked, even last night in that game, he took another spill or got hit or something, and he was holding that back. So I'm looking for a game 7 in that series.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I was stunned. It didn't matter, but I came home. My wife, the Warrior fan, she was just disgusted, not so much down, but just like, what is that?
The Warriors.
The game's on while we're eating. And, what was it, 31 or whatever it was? And we're talking and eating. And I turned around and looked because there was a scuffle. I was like, it's a 13-point game with 4 minutes left. It didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Houston took care of their business. But I was surprised that the Warrior scrubs had that much of an impact as they played like a college team.
No, it
didn't matter.
It didn't matter. But they were ready for their opportunity.
Pat Spencer did not back down from anybody.
Dude, I'm like, Pat Spencer looks like the antithesis of an NBA player, right? Like, he looks like a guy that Hollywood cast as, some Rudy level kind of NBA player. But he was balling. Moses Modi, your boy Moses Modi was out there.
Player, yeah.
Kevin Knox hit some shots.
There you go. I was watching him. I was like, ooh.
Maybe there's something there. But no, so I'm driving home, and I got it on my phone, and I'm sort of one eye on that and one eye on the road. And I'm like, please, Houston, don't lose this game.
Yeah.
Please, Houston, don't lose this game. And they took care of business. They got it done. So.
Yeah. And you wonder how much of that was an opportunity for the Warriors to sit Jimmy. How badly is he hobbled right now?
Yeah, what did you make of Steve Kerr's decision to pull his guys that early, midway through the third?
Yeah, there must be something more to it. I know he said they had the discussion with Draymond, and then they saw, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe part of it was maybe Steph's thumb is hurt more than we know, and with Jimmy hobbled, maybe he figured we're just better off to, live to fight another day. I don't know.
Right. Aging team, and 2 stars. Tired. And I think he mentioned, the distance, the travel back, from Golden State to Houston from Golden State. No, it's from Houston to Golden State. Just the long flight that it is and everything. And so I get it. But then I thought, man, with when they were down 17 or 16 with 6 to go, I'm like, maybe he might put Steph back in, and no way he was doing that though. So we'll see about that. But I was wondering, watching the game, I was reminded, I should say, of some of those games where the Kings came out flat. Remember how many times this year, the Dallas game, an example, because that was a clincher for the Warriors, and they just were no shows. It reminded me of all the times we sat here wondering, why did the Kings not show up last night? I don't pretend to know the answer, but it did remind me of that. It happens in the league. I think the difference is the Warriors can flip the switch. They got guys that can flip the Jimmy Butler, Steph, Draymond. I think the Warriors knew, you know what? All right, Rockets back home. They'll be gaped. They'll win this one. We'll get them when we come back to chase.
Yeah.
They didn't start with any sense of urgency at all or anything like that.
By the way, extra Vatrek. Drapes did that on purpose. That's a callback to when Moses Moody was drafted.
Oh, yeah. He
did that on purpose.
Me and my kids do that all the time. Like when we talk about Moses Moody, they get a kick out of it. So, yeah, I don't even call Moses Moody anymore. He's Moses Moody.
Yes. Mark asks, OMG, Lakers, where's Knicks out? What will ESPN do? Well, it might only be the Lakers, but they're making the most of it today. But I'm sure the NBA and ESPN are not thrilled that LeBron is done.
Yeah, and think about it too, man. You got Cleveland, OKC, Indiana, Minnesota, those aren't major market teams.
Right.
Those are smaller in terms of NBA standards market teams. But fortunately for the league, they got star power. Those teams got stars. I know, if OKC is in the finals, do you think, and I understand having the Lakers there, it would draw more eyes. I don't think the drop-off is as great.
Well, I think, to your point, it's been proven. I know that they don't have KD, but when they had KD and Russ, and they would come here, there's a ton of Thunder fans.
Ton, right?
Yeah, yes. Even though it was OKC, people appreciated that brand of basketball.
Right. It'd be different if and no offense to these guys, but if the Orlando Magic made it. Paolo doesn't have that kind of following. Franz, but SGA?
Right.
SGA versus Tatum or something like that. You could still sell that if you're in the NBA.
Maybe that's exactly what it'll come to. We've got Anthony Slater's going to join us next. See what he knows, if anything, about the Kings' potential coaching staff hires. Slates is next on Sacktown Sports.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure. Count on Kohl's for those special gifts Mom deserves this Mother's Day. Inspire her inner chef with must-haves for her kitchen, wellness essentials for her fitness routine, and jewelry for her perfect night out. Plus, you can save 15% on some of your finds and earn Kohl's Cash. Find Mom's perfect gift in time for Mother's Day at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer valid through May 11th. Kohl's Cash and coupons do not apply to Sephora. Exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for more details.
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands. America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pro Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at sacktownsports.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Time to bust out a little Slater-aid. Nice stuff to join us from The Athletic. He was covering the Warriors last night, covers the NBA at large for, of course, The Athletic. Joins us once a week. Anthony Slater, how are you today, Slates?
I am getting a little tired, you know. It's game 6 of a series. If there's a chance, I got to make a third trip to Houston come Saturday. So
was that what kept the Warriors from ever getting going last night? Were they also a little weary?
Maybe. They sure acted like it. Looked like preseason effort at times.
Yeah.
It was a punt of a game, which included at halftime they were like, go play for 5 minutes, and if you don't make a run, we'll just pull the plug. I don't know. It's kind of they had given themselves the cushion to do that, but that's a dangerous game to play.
Hey, Slate's Jimmy Butler, before we get to the Kings talk, Jimmy Butler didn't look like he was moving well yesterday, maybe re-aggravated it. What can you tell us about him going forward?
Yeah, I think he estimates it would have been about a 1 to 2 week absence in the regular season normally. He landed hard not only just on the pelvic but the left side, and I was talking with him actually after it would have been game 4 in the locker room, and he was explaining to me, he was trying to show me like he can't lift his left leg fully up like in a running like stride type pattern. But he played well that night, even though he was probably hurting even worse in game 4. He was scooting around the court, but he does play this like bully ball power tricky style that's not like built off athleticism. So there are ways I think he can still be effective. Again, it was 12 of 12 at the line in that game. He was still pretty good defensively. And I'm talking about game 4. Game 5, to me, I think he just kind of took the cues of the entire team, and it's like it almost turned into a rest night for all of them. But I don't like. He said he felt a little bit better, like physically felt a little bit better. I just think mentally they weren't all there.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea? Have you heard anything about who might end up being on Doug Christie's staff, with Doug getting officially introduced tomorrow?
No, I think that's like the next step of this process. I think it's going to be a very refreshed staff. I don't think many coaches from last season, I can say that, I don't think will be around. Obviously some of them have already left. But I wonder if maybe Leandro Barbosa sticks around. I know he had a year left on his deal. I wonder if they want to go get a former head coach, right? That's a lot. Oftentimes with a young, fresher head coach, you want somebody who's been, in battles before, as in the head seat, and who would that be? We'll see. I wonder about a guy like Bobby Jackson, maybe, if you want to kind of, revamp or, kind of continue along this like Kings lineage. So there are names, but, we're just heading towards that part of the calendar where, players, coaches, everybody starts to reshuffle, which is a summer thing.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Slater joining us. Doug set to be formally introduced tomorrow. How do you think the hiring of Doug will impact certain players, namely Domantas Sabonis, going into this offseason here?
Well, to me, I think it's a sign that it's going to be relatively status quo roster-wise with the big pieces, who clearly had a voice in, keeping Doug around. And it seems like they're going to, almost, again, we've talked about it week after week about just like the contract situations and the fact that in some ways I do kind of think they're stuck is too strong a term, because like Domantas Sabonis is still obviously a great player, but I just think like you'll probably see Sabonis here next year. You'll probably see LaVine here. I think DeRozan to me is the bigger question mark, but I think some of those main guys that know they're likely to be here next year voiced desire to have Doug Christie around, and he will be the head coach. So that to me, that's a sign of at least temporary status quo.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're seeing it the way I've been looking at it when you have Scott Perry talking about, as close to a quote as I can recall, this current roster, we need a true point guard. To me, that sounds like that's pretty much what they're doing, right? They're planning on having everybody back, maybe some adjustments around the edges, but they're going to add a point guard probably to last year's core and hope that is what pushes them to more wins.
Yeah, because if you're doing a tear-down rebuild, you're not worried about a specific position to complement what else is already here, because you're basically planning on not having a lot else that's here, and you're just like, I agree with you. It doesn't sound like anybody here, Doug Christie, Scott Perry, Vivek, like nobody's planning some philosophical overhaul or massive change of direction. It's a refresh. It's a refining around the edges of the rotation, and a hope by them that leads to more wins next season in a playoff spot. And again, they weren't that far away from the playoffs. I do think the limitations of their core players in the roster still seem like they remain. But, we've seen in the past, like smart, smaller, rotation fits can sometimes unlock bigger things. And if suddenly they get the right point guard, maybe that'll just like unlock level. To me, who they're building their team around, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, like you need to be a top 8 offense in the NBA. You need to get back to where like you run teams out of the building offensively and try to survive defensively, which is kind of, in the best year of this era, right? That first Mike Brown era, that's what they were. They were the number 1 offense and, 17th defense that year. But they still won 48, 49 games, whatever it was. So, like, that's what they've got to be. And to do that, I just think they need to find the right fit offensively, particularly at the point guard position.
All right, Slate. So I'm hearing that, you guys are talking about, making some tweaks, maybe adding a point guard. Any chance that they go big fish hunting with some of the names? And I'm not including Giannis. Giannis out of the mix. But maybe
John Morant
or Zion or somebody like that. Any chance of that?
I think like Zion will probably, and this is more speculation, but I think Zion will be more potentially available than like, a Ja. And again, you get Zion, not only you got to send a lot of salary out the door, or is the Ja, really any of these guys, you got to send a lot of salary out the door, but like Zion and Domantas Sabonis is an odd fit. So you probably would be completely rechanging who you are. I think they'll try to be in the conversations, but to me, they don't. If you're talking about a really appealing, bigger piece out there, to me, they don't really have the package. They don't really. I mean, maybe if Keegan Murray's on the table, that's your young player. You throw some future picks, but I don't know that they should necessarily be in the market for, hey, go try to get a Kevin Durant to finish off some contender that you've already built. Like, no, like this. I would already question the idea that they're continuing to try to like kind of win now. I'd be, I would probably be more of the suggestion of trying to quietly rebuild. But, again, if a Ja Morant became available, sure, I think a lot of teams would make a call, but I'm just not sure the Kings have that type of package to go get him.
Slate, speaking of Keegan Murray at that Scott Perry press conference, somebody asked, and I forget who it was, I apologize, but somebody asked about Keegan, and Scott Perry was interesting. It may mean nothing, but it did catch my ear. First, he said, I'm not worried about Keegan. He'll be all right. And then that's right where he went into his whole thing about, I'm going to give everybody mirrors. So, we really don't know what. Obviously, with Monty, Keegan was like hands off. We don't know how Scott Perry feels about him. So not that you would know that, but my question is, based on your conversations with coaches and scouts, what is your sense of how people around the league see Keegan Murray? Is that a fair question? Do you have a sense of that?
I think the ceiling on Keegan Murray has been lowered. I think there were anyone who thought, hey, he's heading towards all-star territory. And, we all know there were people within the Kings that was their hope, right? That was their dream after his rookie season. Like, hey, this is going to be like the next all-star, like franchise face type guy. I think that expectation by most rational people around the league has been lowered. But there's still a lot of people that think he's a very good winning basketball player. He's really up to, I never thought he'd be this good defensively. He's versatile. He can guard, almost every position. He guards well. He guards attentively. You talked to coaches on the staff last year. They within a sea of, bad defensive personnel, he was a bright spot. Now his shot has kind of left him, to the degree. And, how much of that do you blame on the defensive effort he had to give every night, the way he's bulked up? How much would you blame on just like his continued lessening spot in the offensive pecking order? I would say the decision to, sign DeRozan probably impacted him more than anyone. There was, you look at their starting lineup last year, especially when they had Malik Monk starting and Fox, like there was a point where he was the 5th offensive option. Like that's, for a guy who at one point it felt like they were trying to elevate into, the next two-way star in Sacramento, to then by year 3 be, demoting him into the 5th offensive option in some lineups he's playing out there. Like that clearly was difficult for him to deal with. And I can remember even talking to him. He's so polite and like he wasn't saying it in a super negative way, but he was admitting that like that, that type of Harrison Barnes role that he was put in was kind of impacting some of his shooting percentages and the way he was getting the ball in the court. So I don't know. I think everybody needs to look in the mirror. I also think the way they built the roster around him, like people need to look in the mirror about that one too.
Yes. Well said. Thanks, Slates. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game. You won't be at the press conference tomorrow, will you? Tomorrow morning?
I'm actually thinking about maybe trying to
yeah.
go like on my way, like trying to loop it into going down to the Bay Area for Game 6.
Okay.
So that's not a promise, by the way.
It's right on the way. It is right on the way.
It is. I'll try. I wish it was like, if it was more noon, it would be perfect. But
all right,
whatever.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, fellas.
All right, Slates.
That's this week's dose of Slater aid.
Okay.
Interesting.
Questions need to be answered or asked tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't have a press conference and not come out with anything. Like some news need to be made tomorrow, I think. Like, all right, which direction? Point guard in mind. Maybe we're going to make some trades. Like I want some juicy, something salacious to come out.
Yeah. We'll chew some more on what Slate's had to say. Also, when we come back, breaking down more point guard possibilities. It's all there. Possibilities for the Kings next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
There are so many benefits of working with the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. Now, we chose them to get our new garage doors, and we're so thrilled that we did. They look absolutely amazing. Jason Ross here. And for us, well, we just flat out needed new garage doors. But maybe you do as well, or maybe it's just repairs to your existing doors. Well, the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento can help you with that. It is also a great time of year because this is when homes go on the market. So is yours ready? Well, one thing, don't forget about that garage door, because a new garage door can increase the value of your home. First off, with Curb Appeal, a new modern or stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your house. Also, the return on investment. It is one of the most cost-effective upgrades to increase your home value. You can see for yourself. Just visit the showroom off Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Well, you'd never guess this, but ESPN right now is talking about LeBron's future with the team. You know what, Drapes? I would bet money that when LeBron's done, we're all going to know it because he's going to want to have a farewell tour. Until he decides that every year. I understand it. He's going to have like he has now. I don't know. I got to talk to everybody. Not, have to respect that. But I really deep down believe that he needs, when he's done, to have a farewell tour. Like, Kareem had one. Kobe had one. I think Dr. J had one.
Dr. J.
And he deserves one, but I really would be surprised if he doesn't do that.
That used to be the norm back in the day with some of the all-time greats. And, I could see that as well. And
maybe that will be this year, but we're going to know.
Yeah, we're going to, going into the season, right? This is, and think about it, your last chance to see LeBron when he comes to Charlotte or something like that. And so, yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, honestly, I want to see that also. And here's why, Whitey. I come from, LeBron's era when he was with Cleveland and Miami and the battles he had with Boston. So knowing that final game in Boston for him, KG might be there, Pierce. I want to see that moment.
Yeah.
To sort of, recapture, just that heated rivalry that those two guys, teams had.
I think you're a bigger LeBron fan than I am, but I'm going to miss him when he's done. I don't know that I've ever rooted for him, but when he's done, I'm really going to miss him.
Are you going to miss the coverage of him, though?
No. But that's,
But what do we talk about, though? What do we talk about if there's, no LeBron James?
Wemby.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a more polarizing player in the league? I don't think there's anybody even close that moves the needle like that. Both good and bad, positive and, people love him or hate him. And so when you take that out, remove that, you create a vacuum there. What do we lead with now?
Yeah. I remember when Michael retired the first time before he came back with the Wizards and people were having that conversation. Well, who's the face of the league now? Who's the best player? Is it Sean Kemp? Is it Grant Hill? Well, you just don't replace that is the point.
You don't. And I'm with you. And LeBron, Steph, KD, the old guard that we're seeing, getting up there in age.
Yeah.
I'll miss those guys 100%.
We're lucky as basketball fans now because we've got guys like them and Chris Paul. Guys play a lot longer than they used to.
Right. Back in the day, is what? 11 years, 12 years.
We're 35 back in the day. He's done.
He's done. It's toast, right? Yeah. And think about that. If LeBron retired when he was 35, 5 years ago, what's this, 2022? This is pre-pandemic. He would have retired right after. Right. That's crazy, man. And no, I'm gonna miss LeBron just because he's always must-see TV. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Look at the careers and the money he's put in people's pockets along the way. Wherever he goes, they're on national TV. Ticket sales are up. He's he moves mountains in the league. I mean, think about player empowerment in terms of moving. He made it okay for stars to jump around. Now Kevin Durant's doing it. We're seeing other guys do it. I mean, he's changed the league to an extent.
Yeah. And I know last night he looked tired, but what did he have? 22 and 8 or something in a bad game for a 40-year-old?
Think about that.
Yeah.
Right. It's still remarkable. And, I find myself when I watch LeBron and I see, his feats and everything. And then when he struggles, I have to remind myself, oh, yeah, this dude is 40 years old. Sometimes you forget because, another great season. He's going to be all NBA. He's 40 years old. Remember when Robert Parrish was 40, 41,
I remember when
46.
Kareem. Yeah.
Like,
it's like, just hang on.
Just hang on, right?
One more year.
Just hang on.
Oh, he scored 10 points.
Right. You scored 10 points. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Now it's like if LeBron scores under 20, it's like, oh, he's old now, and so, yeah, I'll miss him. I'll miss watching him play.
Yeah. I don't think he's done yet, though, but we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
We also don't know who's going to be playing point guard for the Kings. Saw this today from Clutch Points, Brett Siegel. And this is just a guy who's just spitballing. This isn't reporting, but it's based on things that he thinks are going on around the league. What do you think of this? Trae Young and Ja Morant are two younger stars. A team like the Kings would have the option of discussing in trade talks should the Hawks and Grizzlies open those conversations. And then he also says, of course, those stars would come with a hefty asking price. He also says, this is why I brought this up, quote, the Indiana Pacers are another team worth mentioning as a franchise with point guards who could hit the trade market. Since Miles Turner is set to hit free agency and the Pacers want to retain him, it is possible, says Brett Siegel, it is possible Indiana enters the offseason looking to offload a player or two for salary reasons. Could TJ McConnell or Andrew Nembhard become available?
You're a guy. You're a guy.
Yeah. I mean, the answer is probably no, but that gives me hope. That would be magnificent.
What's Nembhard's contract situation? You got that, Whitey?
I think he signed for the next 2 or 3, and he's making like.
Didn't he just re-sign? Yeah, he just signed a new deal. I got it right here. I'm looking at some of his numbers as well. 10 points per game, 5 assists in 29 minutes. Obviously, the ball's in Tyrese's hands a lot. 25 years old.
Big, rangy.
All right.
6'4", 6'5", depending on which what source you're
Basketball Reference, which seems to skew the taller, list him as 6'5". Played at Gonzaga, Domas's school. Do 18.1, 19.5, 20.9. What you giving up for that?
Keegan.
You really giving up Keegan Murray?
If it depends what my other point
for
guard
Nembhard?
options are, I would certainly consider it.
Would you give up Malik for that?
Yes.
Dang, you didn't hesitate.
No. Malik just
because I'm looking at the money. That's why I put it out there like that.
We all love Malik. I think it's a tough fit for him with this core. And it could all change if DeMar is on his way out. Nothing against Malik, but I remember last year, obviously I was wrong, but I remember saying, hey, Malik's not just a combo guard. He's a good point guard. And then when they said, okay, here you go, just didn't work, whether that's him or the combination of players. His counting stats last year were as high as I've ever been, but down the stretch, and I know he had some injuries, he just didn't seem like he was as effective, and he didn't fit in as well, in my opinion.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know.
He's a good player.
To me, Malik is a great 6-man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Malik in that 6-man role. Come in, get buckets, change the course of the game. I love that. Regarding Nembhard, does he fit in with Zach and DeMar and Domas, do you think?
He does, because he can defend a little bit, and he, like you said, he plays more off guard, but he's a point guard. I've seen him play when Tyrese was out, and I've seen him play well as a point guard. I think he'd be a really good fit.
Okay. All right. Open it up to the people. 916-339-1140.
I think don't even know who he is.
Don't do that to the Kings fans. They're the best basketball, most knowledgeable basketball fans in the league, Whitey.
Yeah, he's not the biggest name going.
They know who Nembhard is. Solid. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't move the needle for me.
I like him because he's younger and he's rangy.
Right.
And the Kings at some point have to get some younger players in. If you're going to have, what is the term? Sustained competitiveness, I think is the term that Scott Perry's using. That's great. But if you're an old team, you can't have sustained competitiveness. You have to get younger.
Let me throw this at you. As we try to push towards a championship here in Sacramento, is it more important to get a point guard now, or do we need to find a wing guy now? Because I'm looking at champions, and I know Luka led Dallas to the NBA Finals, but they came up short. and I don't consider Steph Curry a point guard, and he's in his own category. Can a point guard lead you to a championship? Like if we get a guy like Nembhard, for instance, is he just a role player? Like, well, how do you envision him when it's time to win a championship? What role do you envision him?
We'll look at that when we come back. Also, I know you wanted to talk about some Boston possibilities all of a sudden here.
Yes.
Could the Kings pry a big name away from the Celtics? We'll look at that when we come back. We'll look at that on Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-750-2525. That's 800-750-2525. Again, that's 800-750-2525.
Whitey here with another great grilling tip. The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 Connected Propane Grill with infrared side and rear burner featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings. Boop, boop. All from your smartphone with temperature probes and LCD display. You'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon Grills, simply the best.
Sacramento River Cats baseball is here, and the Cats Pass is your all-access pass to the full 2025 season. Enjoy access to every single home game at Sutter Health Park at unbeatable value. Cats Pass holders receive access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club on select dates, along with upgrades and guest options. Join us for unbeatable value with the Sacramento River Cats all season long. Get your Cats Pass today at rivercats.com.
Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping, action-packed day at Monster Truck Madness. Witness the insane power of Rockstar, California Kid, Identity Theft, Spitfire, Reverse, Titan, and more. Plus, right along the massive Monster Truck. It's all happening Saturday, May 10th at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds with 2 back-to-back shows at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the wildest event of the year. Tickets are selling fast, so head to StocktonDirtTrack.com for tickets and more info. It's Monster Truck Madness. Non-stop, high-octane thrills that you can't miss.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Coming up, we'll look at the chance for the Kings, perhaps, to pry a big name out of Boston. Before we get to that, not to get lost in the weeds, we were just talking about point guard possibilities. I'm very high on the Pacers' Andrew Nembhard, and Drape said, well, let's see what fans think. Didn't get a huge response, but we got a couple responses, Drapes, from the 916 on the text line. DeRozan for Nembhard plus some assets. Then we have in the Chateau, Tony Bray Harvey says, oh, yes, these Sac fans already have been talking about all caps Andrew
Nembhard.
Now, as far as your question about could a point guard lead the Kings to the promised land, I don't know, but I'm looking at a point guard because Scott Perry seems to be suggesting that's where the Kings are beginning their search.
Right. Okay.
You know, it looks like they're thinking, as we said it with Slates, they like the core for the most part, and it looks like the plan is to find a point guard who's going to help elevate that core.
Okay. Wonder how much it would take. What are you willing to give up? First rounder? Protected first?
You know, I would be willing to give up a first rounder for Nembhard because to me, if I could get a guy that good with a first rounder, I'd feel like that was a score. So
definitely have to give up a player too to make the numbers work.
Didn't Dougie McBuckets used to be with the Pacers? Didn't he? I mean, at homecoming.
He did. All right. Nembhard could be in the mix. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it just depends on if they need to move him because this theory that they're going to need to free up money for Miles Turner, then you've got some leverage. If they don't need to move him, they're not going to move him.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't see that's my issue. I don't see them moving him.
Yeah, I understand that.
I could see them moving a guy like Ben Mathurin, who, is still on his rookie deal, I believe.
What happened with him and Giannis at the end of the game?
I don't know why Giannis was gripping his head like that.
I know what happened with him and Halliburton's dad.
I don't know what that one was
the
about.
The Pacers said Halliburton's dad is not going to be in any more games. But then the thing with Mathurin, I was like, what happened?
Yeah. I don't know. That was a bad like if I was Mathurin, anytime somebody grabbed the back of your head and he's palming it,
it looked like happen. They were like, oh, good game. Yeah.
And then it turned.
Let go of my head.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Where are we going now? My Celtics guys or no?
Yeah.
We got that sound too, right?
Yeah. This was Shams, and I want to make sure I get it right if I can as far as where he said this.
Pat McAfee show.
Pat McAfee show. Yes. Shams, and then we'll weave in, Drapes will weave in how the Kings fit into all this. Talking about the Boston Celtics financial crunch.
Right now, Boston is fully focused on winning a championship. Like that is the number one focus, repeating. But I can tell you, the rest of the league is bracing for some level of change to come to the Celtics from their roster this offseason. And sources have been telling me for weeks now that the Celtics will be exploring trade options in the offseason. This team, this iteration, just is not going to be sustainable for this team, and no one around the organization, from players to staffers, would be surprised if there are changes coming to this roster. Because when you think about the new collective bargaining agreement, there's restrictions that come with trades, there's restrictions that come with freezing of draft picks. That's all stuff that they're dealing with right now. They have 5 players right now scheduled to make $28 million or more next season. That's a league record. So they would have a salary bill of $500 million. That would be league history amount. And I think the Celtics knew when they traded for Jrue Holiday and they traded for Kristaps Porzingis, they'd be staring at this in the face this summer.
Okay, Drapes, I get
all
that.
Right.
How does that affect the Sacramento Kings potentially?
Well, I had sent out the group text, a tweet here, and let me from Evan Sidery. The Celtics will begin to explore cost-cutting trades this offseason per Shams. This iteration is not going to be sustainable. And then Sidery goes on to add, this is his tweet, players like Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday could become prime trade candidates this summer.
Did you say Jrue Holiday?
Jrue Holiday. Weren't we talking just the other day? We need to find a Jrue Holiday-like kind of player.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in the league is more like Jrue Holiday than Jrue Holiday.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Any interest at all in Jrue Holiday? We looked at his age. What is he, 35, about to be 35, I think it was. He's 34, turns 35 June 12th, making $30 million as well.
I don't think the timing is right for the Kings. I think Chris Watkins was talking about this today, and I agree. And I love Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday, as he was for Boston, he's still at this point of his career and his career arc, he's a great fit for a team that's really close to being a championship team. And the Kings aren't that.
You know who could use Jrue Holiday? The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, maybe.
They could use Jrue Holiday. But as far as Sacramento's concerned, I don't even think we have the player assets to get Jrue Holiday, and here's why. If Boston's looking to clear cap space, get under the tax or the aprons or whatever it is, do we have any expiring contracts? Is it DeMar?
Yeah.
You know, like, and if I'm correct, Jrue has 2 years left on his deal, 30 and 31. I got it right here, Whitey. I don't know. So he got 32.4 and then 34.8, then a player option at 37.2. That's a lot. I love Jrue Holiday.
I do too.
I love it. If it was 3 years ago, sign me all up. Even if we had the same team right now, but he's getting up there long in the tooth. And what would it take to get a player?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Jrue Holiday?
Even if you decide, yes, we're interested, could you compete for him? Because there'd be other teams that'd be very interested.
Like you said,
in his
teams that are
services.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else could use Jrue Holiday? I mean, everybody. Jrue Holiday has proven to be a Swiss Army. Like, he could fit in anywhere.
Right.
You know, he used to be a lead guard. Now he goes into Boston, you know, becomes a great 3-and-D guy, if you will. I would like Jrue, but I just don't see how we can make it happen. How about Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn?
Nope.
Won a title in Boston.
Right.
Was huge. Is
right.
Playing well for them right now.
A team like Boston can afford all of his times when he's hurt, not playing, because they got Al Horford. And it's like, be ready for the postseason. Kind of like the Warriors used to do with Iguodala. It's like, we don't care about the regular season. Make sure you're ready to guard LeBron in the finals. That's your whole mission. And the Kings aren't there, and they would need him to play a lot during the regular season.
Could he pair with Domas? Stretch big, can block some shots.
I just thought of something. Pardon me if I don't answer, but I was just remembering, wasn't Porzingis in New York when Scott Perry was there? I just
now you're talking, Whitey. Now you're talking. Wow, I didn't even think about that. And I believe you're 100% right. I'm looking at Porzingis'.
Don't remember if they drafted. I didn't think they drafted him. But he was there, I think.
He was there 1 year.
Yeah.
Played 48 games, then got hurt, and then got traded.
He said, I want it out.
To Dallas.
Yeah. I remember suggestions that Scott Perry wanted to trade Porzingis to the Kings for De'Aaron Fox when it looked like the Kings were going to draft Luka.
So Perry was out on him at that time, even though he was an all-star.
Yeah, he was hurt a lot. Even then, you know, he had knee issues. So
okay, all right. So no on the two Boston guys.
I don't think so.
All right. Just
aren't you out on?
I guess.
You know what Jay wants from Boston? Jay wants Derek White.
Jay. He don't want to touch no Derek White. He don't want to touch Derek White. How about this here from the 916? I have heard. First of all,
book it.
I think
book it.
I have heard that Brown from Boston may be available because him and Tatum may not necessarily like each other all that well.
In today's edition of Texts from 2021.
916, who's your sources, big fella? What you on Reddit 5 years ago and got this or something? Jaylen Brown. I think we'd all say sign me up. Like
absolutely.
All in.
Absolutely.
Whatever it takes. But
look at this from Folsom Mike. You're on to something with Nemhard. Great passer, long, plays D, gets steals. Should have a Mike Conley career potential. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nimby.
If Folsom Mike says it, I'm going to have to co-sign it. You know, that's my neighbor right there, Folsom Mike. I'm okay. If you get Nemhard, I think to your point, that's probably a move that won't make headlines, but its impact could be huge on the team. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, it's not going to move, Kings get Nembhard. But once we see him play, he has the potential to make a leap, I think is what you're saying.
Is that all the Kings need? Is a point guard going to put them anywhere near the top? Well, look at that, and I'll tell you, Trapes, I'm officially out on Ja. Sorry.
You out? Okay.
I'll tell you why when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes! There's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Before we get back to the Kings, quick baseball break. Jay, you're a baseball guy. I just saw this. I don't know if you saw it. Paul Skeens got knocked around a little bit today, and ESPN just had a graphic. Paul Skeens today, I think it was his four-seamer, he had the slowest average MPH of his career, the worst, if you will. What do you think it was for Paul Skeens today?
For a four-seamer?
Yeah. Worst of his career.
95.
97.5.
Yeah.
Worst of his career.
Wow.
He's thrown 97.5.
That's slow, man. It's turtle wax.
Like, you got a rag arm or something? You all right?
Man, the elbow might be inflamed.
Yes.
97.5.
Gave up 3 dingers. Also, I don't think it's too early to start checking wild card standings.
Oh, shoot.
Are you serious?
Listen, it is May 1st, Jay.
Come on.
It is May 1st.
MLB.com did not even post them until today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was checking them from opening day.
Oh, what you
now
got?
we have, with the Athletics winning today, American League wild card race. Now you have in the division leaders, the Tigers, Mariners, Yankees. Then you have 3 wild cards. You have Cleveland right now sitting in the first wild card. Then you have Houston at 16 and 14. And then 3 teams tied for that third wild card slot. Actually, they're all tied for the second wild card slot. Boston, Kansas City, and the 17 and 15 Athletics of West Sacramento.
All right, okay. We're in the mix here, huh,
Yeah.
locally. All right.
After the win today. And the Athletics, by the way, have the best away record, 11 and 6, in all of baseball.
They got the best away.
I'm not saying they can't wait to get
Shut
out
up.
of.
Shut up. Do that in all of baseball, you said?
Yes. 11 and 6 away from home.
There's a joke to be made there, and I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be the one that makes it.
They're so happy to get out.
How happy are they, Whitey? So happy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a ways to go in baseball, but nice start for the Athletics. Playing some good
all
baseball,
right,
especially
yeah.
away from the cozy, intimate confines.
Intimate. I like that. I like that. I still have not been to the old ball yard. I haven't seen the guys yet.
Aren't the Yanks coming in pretty soon?
Are they?
And your
Let me
Phillies are
look.
coming
My
in this
Phillies?
month?
All right, I'm going to have to go out there and check them out. Let me look at the A's tickets. Not that I'm buying it from the team site, if you will, but I need to look at their schedule here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Yankee. Next week?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, May 9th, 10th, and 11th.
They might have like 11,000 people out there.
Right.
I know, it's crazy.
Dude, I think it's going to be a sellout.
We'll see. If it's not, then we know that it's just not going to sell out.
Is Aaron Judge the best thing going in baseball right now? You see his numbers?
He's pretty good.
What, he hitting over 400, I think?
Kind of a Tatis Jr. guy, but he's not bad. He's not bad.
Dude, he's hitting for average power. Like, he's figured it out, man.
He's going to hit one off the railroad
right?
museum when he comes here.
That thing going to fly to Fairfield by the time it's yeah. Damn, I'm thinking about being out of town that day, though.
Well, then your Phillies are coming in later in the month, right?
But I'm out of town that weekend.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. I don't know what to do.
When are you in town?
It's the off season, big fella. That's when I take my time.
Mm-hmm.
Take my time.
So, Jay, you got wild card fever yet? Am I the only one with wild card fever?
Yeah, you're the only one that even got baseball fever right now. Drapes you into the baseball season? I'm not.
Honestly, I'm the type, I don't really start dialing in until August.
Yeah, man,
that's late.
July.
That's late. You know,
July,
but
August, yeah.
I'll wake up August 1. All right, let me see the standings. Because then it's the final push, last 2 months of the season.
I will say it happens every year since I was a kid. I remember my brother Phantom pointing this out. When baseball starts and basketball is going on in the playoffs, you know, you're watching basketball all year long, and then baseball's on. Oh, let's watch baseball. And it's like, nothing's happening.
Right.
It feels like that's less of an issue now since they got the pitch clock. I got to say, it does feel like it's got a little more.
Moving a little bit more?
A little bit more pace. It's not basketball by any stretch, but a little bit more pace.
I know you guys have, and I'm going to out myself. I haven't watched the game this season yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Not one baseball game?
Nah, but you know how it is, Jay. I'm not sitting around watching TV,
I
though.
got you.
That's the thing. I'll have basketball playoffs in the background, but other than that, I don't watch anything.
But you're a player, right? You're a hitting machine in softball, I understand.
Exactly. And these kids need to take a lesson from Drapes here. I'd rather play than watch somebody else do it. So, you know, I'm out there playing once a week instead of watching baseball.
Who's that guy, Jay? Randall Simons? I think that's Drapes is like a Randall Simons.
You like Randall?
Yeah, from the left
A little
side.
bigger.
Yeah.
You know, I got that bat, you know.
You got the wiggle?
Yeah, I got the little wiggle going
You
on.
ain't
Come
keeping
on,
it
man.
still?
I ain't keeping it still.
Courtesy runner? Or are you
Yeah, they do.
Give me the CR blue.
They courtesy ran for me the other day. I know. I was
kidding.
Nah. Well, don't get me started on my baseball team. Nice people. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to have to see it again. I don't want to.
I was kind of like making funny a little bit. I was joking.
It was. We were trailing, and you know,
got to get some.
I will
some
say,
younger legs on the base pass.
Some people taking it a little too seriously out there. A little too serious. And the worst thing is when it's the guy who talks the best and the most, knows everything, the organizer, putting the lineup card out there. You get me in trouble, Whitey. But then when they make 2 or 3 errors, it's like, I'm just.
What position?
Are you formally asking for a trade?
I'm not saying anything, man.
What position was the organizer playing?
Shortstop. I'm not saying anything, man. I'm not saying anything, dude. Wow.
Y'all won though, right?
Yeah, but it's like I don't know.
It's for the team, Drapes. There's no I in team, champ.
I felt a certain type of way.
So you line a single to right or maybe a double, and you're feeling good about yourself, and then you see
What am I? What the hell, Coach? What's going on here,
Coach?
man?
I don't need anything.
Coach went and grabbed the courtesy on you.
Yeah.
What was the blow? It was a blowout.
No, we were down 5-4, and then we exploded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were down.
So when we
were down at the time.
So then he was like, "Gotta go get you."
Yeah, because we tried to get a run, trying to tie it up or take the lead or whatever. And so it made sense, but come on, bro.
I can't.
Being on base is an honor. Like, it's exciting.
Yeah. I can't say anything. When I was on sophomore team in high school, I was a really good fielder. But one game I played third base and they DH'd for me.
Wait, how old were you at this time?
Oh, 16, whatever I was.
What?
They DH'd for me. I remember I have a friend, John Dickinson. I said, would you think less of me if I told you I got DH'd for once? And he goes, I think I would.
Were you not good at the plate or something?
I was struggling a little bit, but I was, I could pick it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I can't really say too much about
Right.
it.
I'm a 50-year-old man, you know, so I understand. You know, you a 16-year-old finely tuned
I struggled
athlete.
a little bit,
Right.
you know. I couldn't find my stroke.
How'd that affect your psyche, your mentals?
I was fine with it.
Okay,
all
all
right.
right.
I'd probably DH for me too right now.
You do whatever for the team, right?
That's
you try to get the
right.
win. I get that.
That's right.
I get that.
We're talking about Kings and point guards. The more I think about it, and, you know, Jerry came on and said he's not high on Ja, and that influenced me a great deal. There's two reasons why I would not be in on Ja. And obviously, if they talk to the Grizzlies,
let me hear
that'd be exciting. One is all the injuries.
Okay.
He's just been, and he seems like the longer he plays, the more he gets hurt because he flies through the air, and, you know, what goes up must come down. Then the other thing is if you bring him in, then you got to kind of refit around him. They're looking for somebody they can plug in as a point guard who can elevate what they have. Ja's not that. To his credit, he's better than that. So if you brought in Ja, then I think you'd have to start moving other things around.
Is that a bad thing, though?
Maybe, but
if you're trying to build a champion,
Mm-hmm.
now, if you're trying to just make play-in or number 6, but if you're trying to win a championship, how do you, you know?
I think it would be problematic because then you'd have to, to a degree, you'd have to build around him, wouldn't you? I mean, he's that good.
Yeah, it may take some time.
Mm-hmm.
It may take a year or two. And I would like to know, what are you sending out for a guy like Ja? What does the roster look like when you put Ja in here? Is DeMar still here? Is Zach still here? Is it building around Ja, Keegan, and Domas?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not bad. That's not a bad look right there. And so I don't know. I think we're at a point, if you're Sacramento, where anything is possible. This team has not accomplished anything the last 2 years. Now, if you made the playoffs, then it's like, all right, I can see us building something. But you haven't even made the playoffs, Whitey, the last 2 years. And so I'm of the belief that anything is a possibility. I'm exploring everything. Oh, Ja's available? How much? Okay. Like, I'm not, if I'm, you know, Scott Perry, I'm not beholden to any
I understand that
person or group or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at, and he may think, and to your point, and I know he talked about adding a point guard. I wonder if he really thinks just adding a point guard makes us good enough to compete for a championship in the West. I don't know if it does.
Yeah, I don't either, but it sure sounds like that's the plan. Doesn't it? I mean, it's pretty apparent from what he has said. I know I'm reading between the lines a little bit, but it looks like that's what they want to do.
I will say this.
Ja, you got a whole other bunch of things you got to figure out.
I'm not holding him to what he said on his opening day press conference, because here's the thing. Like I just said, I'm calling on anybody and everybody.
That's fair.
You know, on that day, when I look at this roster, we need a point guard in size and athleticism. A month from now, well, hell, Zion's available. I like,
I understand
or
that,
John,
yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see what he says tomorrow. Is he still feel the same way?
Right.
Or is he looking at it differently?
That's a terrific point. I'm not, holding him to it per se. I'm just trying to figure out what the plan is. I'm just guessing along with him. Yeah, if he were to come out tomorrow and say, no, we're doing something else, that's fine. It might be more exciting. I'm just guessing. It sure sounds to me like they've got the plan for the most part, and they're going to try to add around the edges and add this one piece. But we don't know. Maybe we'll find out more.
We'll find out more. I think, coming in the way Scott did and saying that, it's almost like being an auto mechanic, if you will. The car is making this sound, so we need this, and that. Then you get up under the hood and see, like, ooh, we might need to change the carburetor and all this too. Yep. And so that's what I think these couple of weeks so far and then going forward is for Scott Perry, a closer look at what's going on with this team.
Coming up, back to the Lakers, of course. If you were Luka, would you sign a Laker extension? Next, Sackdown Sports.
The Sackdown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sackdown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sackdownsports.com to join.
What would it take for a plumbing company to earn your trust? Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And let's face it, plumbing and service companies don't always have the best reputation.
So to earn your trust, the first thing they'd have to do is actually answer the phone when you call with a real live person. Then they'd have to send a plumber when you needed them, day or night, without charging extra for emergency services.
A trustworthy plumber would show up on time, wearing a clean uniform and name badge, and be able to show that they had passed a background check and drug test.
A plumber you could trust would give you a firm quote on the job before starting and clean up after they finish the job.
That's exactly the plumber you'll get when you call Bell Brothers, a plumber you can trust. Call Bell Brothers right now for all your plumbing needs. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Sky River Casino, Hop Valley Brewing, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Typically, a high handicapper carries an index of 20 or more. Golf Monthly's Barry Plummer offers 4 tips if you're tired of that high handicap. First, choose the right equipment. Invest in a 5-wood, which is more forgiving than a 3-wood or 3 hybrid. It's a much better option for getting the ball in the air. Second, play for bogey on par 5s. Break the longer holes into manageable chunks, perhaps aiming to hit the green with 4 easy swings while also navigating away from the trouble along the way. 3, leave the sand wedge in the bag for chipping. Up and down percentages are almost twice as good when chipping a 9-iron over a sand wedge, and 3.5 times better with the putter. And finally, stop leaving your putts short. A 20 handicapper leaves 55% of their missed putts short of the hole. Give yourself a chance with every attempt and don't leave another putt short. Try these simple tips and let's see whether your handicap starts to come down. And have some fun out there. That'll help too. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Apparently, a lot of people lost a lot of money when the Lakers lost because a lot of people were betting on the Lakers to win the NBA championship. Kind of on them, right? I guess a lot of people got a little Luka crazy when the Lakers traded for Luka, and put a lot of money on the Lakers to win it all. So, okay, maybe be a little more careful with your money next time. It is interesting to me that there's all this outrage and surprise and shock over what happened to the Lakers. They're done, eliminated by the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I get it, a seed as high as they were, getting knocked out in 5 games. It goes a little bit against the grain, but then when you really look at what happened, it's no surprise the way the Minnesota Timberwolves matched up so well against them. And the Timberwolves seemed to relish the opportunity to beat the Lakers from game 1, where Ant just went after Luka. They welcomed all the doubt. They made the most of it. They thrived on it. And the Lakers, it almost seemed like being the favorites was a burden to them. Don't you think, Drapes, that the Minnesota Timberwolves loved being the underdogs in this series with the chance to show everybody and the Lakers what they were really about?
No, I 100% agree. And when you look at Anthony Edwards, and you saw him after the game, what'd he say? Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Minnesota in 5 or whatever. Like, he heard all the chatter.
Yeah, it was Lakers in 5, right?
Did he say Lakers in 5?
Because
Yeah.
that's what people had been saying.
We're saying, yeah. He heard all the chatter, and I do believe it fueled him. But here's the thing, Whitey, when you look at it, look at the makeup of the team. Ant-Man, he's a dog. Julius Randle, he's a dog. Dante DiVincenzo. These are guys who take things personally. And so I should have known everybody picking the Lakers, and understandably so, Luka, LeBron, better record. But Minnesota got a damn good team.
Mm-hmm.
And
we got Jaden McDaniels, and he fouls out. And it's like, they got another one.
Yeah, let me throw in Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah.
They got length on the perimeter. Forgot about Naz Reid, too. They are a better roster, a better constructed team than the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And so, no, I thought you're right. They heard all that chatter out there and said, we'll show you. And to your point, we've heard people say, when playing with LeBron, the pressure that comes with that. Not only are you with LeBron, now you're with the Lakers too. There's a lot of pressure. You can't lose in the first round. It'd be different if Houston loses in the first round, Minnesota. But when you're the Lakers and you got LeBron and Luka, that comes with pressure.
It's kind of funny to me that we have some fans who say that, oh, Doug Christie didn't do that or didn't do this with the X's and O's. And then look at the series that Redick had, a playoff series where he was clearly overexposed.
It was terrible. And you and I had praised J.J. Redick very early in the season because of some of his offensive sets. What happened to those?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm watching the Lakers, and it's give it to Luka and just let him go one-on-one or make a last-second pass.
Maybe that's the answer to your question. Maybe that's what happened.
They got Luka, and then I'm this isn't the J.J. Redick offense that I saw earlier in the season.
Remember the stuff they were running opening night with AD?
Yes. And so that's why I was praising him. But this series, I didn't see no offensive imagination, innovation. I saw, poor coaching. Honestly, if it wasn't J.J. Redick, if it wasn't LeBron's guy, if it wasn't the Lakers, playing your five the entire second half, if Darvin Ham had did that, if Frank Vogel had did that,
they'd have fired him right after
the game. Yes. And then JJ doubling down on it, basically saying, I told the guys if they needed a break, it's no, dude, it's okay to say, yeah, probably if I had to do it over again, I would have, made some substitutions.
Mm-hmm. Dividing Zero says in the chateau, I haven't seen this, so I can't say this is confirmed, but Dividing Zero says, JJ Redick already questioning his team's conditioning. Wonder who he's talking about. I don't know that he did that. If you play guys as many minutes as he played them, then you're going to question their conditioning.
Yeah.
You're clueless.
Yeah, he had a quote talking about championship conditioning. We need guys to be in, I think, championship or title level conditioning. And he's talking about Luka, obviously. And I do believe, yes, Luka needs to work on his conditioning. But he was banged up this series, too. That spill he took, I thought Luka actually performed well offensively. But damn, when you got him and LeBron can defend, but in small spurts. You can't ask LeBron to defend Julius Randle for 40 minutes. I mean, especially at this age. So you got Luka and LeBron, two defensive negatives, and then throw in Austin Reeves also. You're going to have some troubles.
I think Luka defensively has gotten, if anything, he's gotten worse.
Yeah. Whitey, I don't know if you remember this, though. Last year, playoff start, Mavs win a series or two. The word out of Dallas, the narrative, Luka's playing an amazing defense. He's locking in. And then they get to that Boston series, and the Celtics just picked on him, destroyed him. And so, the thing about Luka defensively, because I don't need him to be a lockdown defender if I'm the Lakers. It's Luka Doncic. There aren't many. Steph Curry ain't no lockdown defender, but you got to at least give an effort. Give some fight out there. You can't be a turnstile, and that's Luka's problem.
So if you were Luka and you're extension eligible this summer, was it end of July, whatever it is, you're eligible to sign an extension with the Lakers, 4 years, $229 million. You've got whatever's going on with LeBron, and he's got an option here he's got a month to think about it. You've got, obviously their cap situation and a roster that's a little uneven. Do you think you would no questions asked, give me that extension, I'm signing it? Or would you be a little more careful? I think if he doesn't sign and then he just plays out his contract, I think he'd be unrestricted in 2026.
I mean,
you could go wherever he wanted.
If it's me, because I don't know what Luka craves or wants or anything like that, I'm re-signing. And here's why, Whitey. First of all, I love LA. I'm a big LA fan, the city. You know, I'd have my house in Beverly Hills, my mansion overlooking I would be A-okay there. But two, you know the Lakers are always in the mix for another star, another talent. Like, say what you will about the organization and Jeannie Buss. They've been relevant for the most part. Every star they have, they've been able to pair another star with them. And so, if I'm Luka, where else am I going? Where am I going to go? Phoenix? Come on, man. Where am I going?
Yeah, he's 25 years old, making $43 million. Then next year, 25, 26, 45, 9, and then a player option. So if he wanted, he could play next year and then be a free agent. Wow. On
that would be huge.
Yeah, with his injury history, I think that would be the compelling reason. If he asked me, I'd say
that's true.
Sign the 4 years for $229.
Right.
And take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Get your money, especially if conditioning and injuries are an issue for you. Get the secured bag right now.
Yeah. Even last night he drove and then it was his bag.
That look, ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm taking it. I'm playing for the Lakers because we've already seen, and Luka was already a superstar. But I'm seeing Luka in more commercials now. His jersey, the number one selling jersey in the league. There's some other things. I think Luka likes living. I mean, based on, from out here in Sacramento, where else are you going to go? Detroit?
This is
Charlotte?
I don't know this, and it might be unfair, but I don't really mean it as a slight. It's possible that some of the things that would come with playing in LA are more important to him than having a chance to win a championship. And everything goes well, maybe he has both.
Right.
What I'm saying is maybe for him, it's like, this is as good as it gets. And I'd like to win a championship, but that's not more important to me than having everything that comes with being the guy in LA.
Yeah, the guy in LA. Think about that. You're the man in LA. And if you win a championship, it's not only you're a great Laker, you're an all-time NBA great. When you win a championship in LA, it carries more weight than winning in Milwaukee or Detroit or something. Yeah.
And they're going to spend money. They don't always get it right, but they're willing to spend money.
And they're willing to make trades, whatever, because the pressure's always on ownership and management there in LA. So.
What do you think of some people now saying, and it's a knee-jerk reaction, of course, but, Nico was right. Last night in this series proved Nico was right. He just should have gotten more for him.
Nah. I think you need to play it. Let it play all out. Play out. Look at the trade in 10 years, because the reason why this trade was so lopsided, it wasn't because of this season, Whitey. It was that you gifted the Lakers a 10-year franchise-changing superstar. And you got Anthony Davis, who I love, but what do you got? 3 years left, in terms of high-level play, 4 max. That's why Nico Harrison was deadpan for this trade.
I'm just going to read this from the 916.
Here we go.
I still think, and they didn't put their name on it, I still think not drafting Luka was a good thing for the Kings.
No wonder they're not putting their name on it. That's ridiculous. Come on now. Is that what we're really saying? Come on.
Amadrock says Luka doesn't have 10 years in him. I don't think he does.
You don't think he's going to 35?
No, I would guess he won't.
Really?
He's
35, so young.
I know, but he's already slowing down a little bit. I'm not saying he's got 2 more years, but 35, a 35-year-old Luka to me right now in my mind's eye is like, I don't know if I want him around. You think he will? He's going to have to start getting in better shape.
Right. I agree. I agree with that. And he does have a lot of miles on the legs playing professionally overseas, before coming over here. 35 is young now. 35? Kevin Durant's 37. Steph Curry. But to your point, you got to take care of your body.
Yeah.
And that's where I think LeBron can hopefully, if you're the Lakers, help him the most.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Kevin Durant explains how the game and players have changed. We'll get back to the Kings as well when we come right back. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and essentially located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
It's what you wait for all week. The three-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
There are so many benefits of working with the overhead door company of Sacramento. Now, we chose them to get our new garage doors, and we're so thrilled that we did. They look absolutely amazing. Jason Ross here. And for us, well, we just flat out needed new garage doors. But maybe you do as well, or maybe it's just repairs to your existing doors. Well, the overhead door company of Sacramento can help you with that. It is also a great time of year because this is when homes go on the market. So is yours ready? Well, one thing, don't forget about that garage door, because a new garage door can increase the value of your home. First off, with Curb Appeal, a new modern or stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your house. Also, the return on investment. It is one of the most cost-effective upgrades to increase your home value. You can see for yourself. Just visit the showroom off Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Another big day for the new look Kings? Question mark. Not sure how new the look will be with Scott Perry back, Doug Christie back, and tomorrow at 10 a.m. scheduled press conference, media conference with Christie and Scott Perry. So hopefully we'll get a little more light shed on what's going on. I'm hoping that deep down, Drapes, I don't think there's anything that has happened yet. I don't think we're going to find out anything new. But
in terms of coaches, roster, anything?
Yeah, it's not like, Scott Perry and Doug are going to sit down with us tomorrow and go, yeah, we're going to trade this guy, and we're going to get this guy and this guy and this guy. And then these are going to be all my assistant coaches. This is the offense we're going to run. This is the defense we're going to run. We'll be lucky if we get anything. And I understand that. We're just anxious to find out details.
Right. I agree with you. I'm hoping we get something out of it. Doug saying no one's coming back in terms of staff, or, I'm keeping this guy, and this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just want some sort of news to come out of it instead of a vanilla press conference.
The big things that are yet to be determined to me does Domas want to stay here? And does DeMar DeRozan want to stay here? It sounds to me like Zach LaVine is that's done. He's going to be here. He wants to be here and they want him here. But and then of course, if you move those guys to get whatever else you want back, are you going to have to put somebody else in the mix as well? I still think they're going to end up bringing back pretty much the whole team with some improvements around the edge.
How you feel about that if they do that?
Depends who that point guard is, but not great. I think DeMar's going to be hard to trade if he wants out. If he doesn't want out, I think they're committed to him and he'll be back. If he does want out, I think he might be difficult to trade. We're just guessing here. My guess would be that Domas is going to, not because Doug's the coach necessarily, but I think Domas is going to end up staying too.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, Whitey, I'm not leaning anyway when it comes to
that's
this.
probably smart. It is.
I'm looking at DeMar in his contract situation here in Sacramento. It's not like you can't move that contract. He's making 24.5. It's a lot, but it's not.
I'm having a hard time seeing how any other team would say, yeah, that's with what we're doing right now, he would help us. I know that he's
Miami.
Maybe that's the only team supposedly, or that's the team that we know of that was also in on him last year. So maybe.
And I'll throw this at you too. Whatever move Scott Perry makes, does it have to be a move that improves us day one, that trade? Or is it, and I'm going to just throw a name out there, not saying I want this guy, I'm just throwing a name out there. DeMar to Miami for Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick, let's say. Could Scott make that kind of move where, we don't think Wiggins is going to move the needle and help us win a championship or be here when it's time, but to get a future asset, an asset down the road, maybe a 2028 first rounder or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
I would love that if you can move DeMar, send him someplace he wants to be, and then you get something of real value. Wiggins has value too. That would be a great trade, in my opinion. Again, assuming DeMar's like, yeah, you know what, we're done here.
Because I'm throwing Miami out there because I feel like they're in desperation mode right now. They got to do something.
Yeah,
they got to do something. I don't think Bam's going anywhere unless it's it's part of a Giannis trade. I don't think Tyler Hero's going anywhere unless it's part of a Giannis trade. But for them, could they see DeMar as that third link? Wiggins, solid player, but DeMar is a better offensive player. And then Bam, as great as he is, all-star, he's not an offensive player. Does Tyler Hero need some offensive help? And could they view DeMar DeRozan in that regard?
How do you think, if I may ask you, I know it's difficult for you, some of the stuff because of, you're working for the team.
Yeah.
What's your best guess of how other teams around the league look at DeMar's season? The numbers, you check you go to Basketball Reference and numbers like, whoa, those are great numbers. You think it's probably easy to look at that and go, man, that whole situation dragged him down. He was pretty good, all things considered, considering what he had to go through last year.
Yeah, I think he actually had a pretty damn good season. He did what he's done his whole career. Like, it wasn't like he excelled, exceeded, or fell short. Like, that's who DeMar DeRozan is. Another team I'll throw out there, the Orlando Magic. How about this one? And they got some young players. They got some young talent. Tristan Da Silva, Anthony Black. I'm just throwing some names out there, Whitey. KCP in a future first.
Yeah, I would. Future first. You had me at a future first.
All right, so that's what I think a deal will look like if you do you're going to get a player, but it might not be the guy that moves you closer right now. It's about that future asset and trying to build something.
Yeah, that would work for me because also just by moving DeMar, then you're opening up things for like Zach and creating more offensive opportunities for the other people that you're bringing in. So you're thinking there could be and should be a market for DeMar with teams that are looking for just a little more veteran offensive punch.
Yes, exactly. And those two teams, Miami and Orlando, fit that bill. I'm thinking of Milwaukee. Nah, I don't like him and Giannis together. Just trying to think of some other teams. Portland. Any of those, a veteran, a guy that can, stabilize them in the half-court set a little bit?
How about this angle, fellas? I don't know if we've talked about this angle. What if, and we know this happens every year with a few organizations and teams, what about if someone wants to just take on DeMar's contract because they're getting ready to tear it down to the studs? As Draper says, they're getting ready to tank for the next couple of years, and they're just trying to eat, knowing that his contract to be done next year, technically minus an option, and you just take on the money anyway.
Well,
like it happens all the time.
That DeMar, given where he is in his career, he might say, "I'm just not doing that."
Yeah, but technically, you don't, as you always say, I don't need DeMar's okay to trade DeMar.
Right, but I mean, he's so far along in his career that he might just say, "I will retire." If you send him someplace, he would have that kind of leverage.
Yeah, I don't know if DeMar gonna retire.
Well, if you're going to send him somewhere dreadful,
I think you treat him right, but I think it comes down to the conversation of if you know, let's just say the Wizards are taking on contracts because they're trying to build for the next 5 years, not next year, the next 2 years. That's a conversation you can have with DeMar in the form of you can pick and choose where you get ready to go. We're going to send you to Washington. Washington will buy you out, type thing.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
Could be like they did with Jrue Holiday, right? With Portland,
right? Exactly.
Yeah,
like it happens all the time. Right. You see veterans go. Chris Paul's done it. It happens. So I don't think we've seen that angle yet either. Like you trade him to anybody, but then he'll jump around and do whatever because his contract is not the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The thing to me that would make me want to move him is the Kings are so bad defensively, and you know this when you get him. He just, last year he didn't even give the kind of effort on the perimeter defensively that I think the Kings need to give. That's not what he is, at least not right now. And I don't think I think it's going to be hard to play the way they want to play and do the things they're already talking about doing. If you're getting major minutes from him, when you have him and Sabonis, it's not just him and Sabonis and Levine on the floor at the same time, look it up. They're really, really bad defensively. And I think that's, no matter what you want to do, that's really going to weigh you down until you do something about that.
Is DeMar the guy to go, though?
As opposed to Levine, it sounds like, yeah. I think he sounds like he's the one that would most likely to ask out. That's my read.
Right. I mean, I'd keep an eye on those two teams, Miami and Orlando, if a deal is to be made. To me, it makes a whole lot of sense for both those teams. Doesn't make sense for the Lakers, Clippers. I'm thinking
as much as he'd love to be home.
Right, exactly. As much as he'd love to be home, California, stay close to home. I just don't, see a whole lot of options there for DeMar DeRozan in terms of contending teams that are just that one piece away.
Would they just theoretically, could you do some sort of deal with DeMar, Miami sign and trade with Davion Mitchell?
Come on, Whitey.
I'm asking because he's a restricted free agent, right? Davion Mitchell, I believe, is restricted.
Is he restricted? Okay. All right. He's bounced around so many times.
People around here love Davion Mitchell again.
Yeah, I'm glad you said again because they weren't loving him at the end of his time here in SAC. Now restricted free agent.
So you re-sign with us because you re-sign with us. We can give you more money, and then just so you know, you re-sign with us. You're going back to Sacramento, and DeMar would be part of that team. I'm just asking if that's a possibility.
I'm trying to look at the machinations, if you will.
So I think you could. I believe you'd have to put some other pieces in there to make it all match up.
Yeah,
because he was only at 6.4.
Yeah, and he's not going to
year?
get a whole lot.
Yeah.
He's getting 10, if that. If you're Davion. So let me add, because I'm trying to see where your head is at with Davion. would you do Davion and DeMar straight up? Forget about cap and salaries and everything. Like player for player.
Yes, I would.
Damn, you're just selling on DeMar that low. Davion's a backup point guard.
He played like he might be more than that.
Is he more than that for us?
He could be.
Okay, all right.
He defends.
All right.
He played really well this year. I know that's
so Davion and Zach and Keon coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just here trying to see where your head is at. I don't have any thoughts on it.
Okay.
I don't have any thoughts on that. I'm not. I feel like that's selling kind of low.
I see where you're coming from, but I have other side benefits from that, and I love the idea of getting whoever the point guard is, point guard who can shoot and a point guard who can defend. That would improve this team, I think, dramatically. And maybe he's not the guy, but he's shown
some things.
Yes.
Yeah, he's shown. I like Davion.
Mm-hmm. Of course, he was. You never know with the Kings when it comes to the drafts who really wanted the guy. If he was really a Monty guy, then a lot of people in the organization right now would go, we don't really want to do that. Right? You just don't know for sure.
You don't know. Yeah. No, I'd like Davion as our starting point guard. I'm just trying to envision it.
I understand. It's a bit of a stretch.
It's a stretch because, you just told me no John Morant, but we'll take Davion Mitchell. It's just hard for me to wrap it around.
He's a better shooter than Ja. He's a better defender.
Man, are we going to do this all off season though? I'm just not me and you. I'm just talking as a Sacramento media market.
Sure, if you want to.
No, I hope not.
Is that a request?
I hope not. I need Scott Perry to do something, man. We ain't even really hit the off season. It's just May 1st. Jeez.
I know how the Lakers were humiliated last night when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
Fisher Investments. We may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sacramento River Cats baseball is here, and the Cats Pass is your all-access pass to the full 2025 season. Enjoy access to every single home game at Sutter Health Park at unbeatable value. Cats Pass holders receive access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club on select dates, along with upgrades and guest options. Join us for unbeatable value with the Sacramento River Cats all season long. Get your Cats Pass today at rivercats.com.
Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Marvel fans, get ready for the next heroes to hit the largest screen in Sacramento with Thunderbolts, the IMAX experience, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown.
You thought you were going to be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Filmed for IMAX, the best place to immerse yourself in Marvel's Thunderbolts is on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen and thunderous sound system. Get your reserved seats today at IMAX.com/Sacramento. Thunderbolts playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Not everybody's crazy about the idea of bringing Davion Mitchell back. Sacktown in the Chateau says Davion is not a better shooter than Ja. You might want to look that up again.
Ooh, Whitey. Okay.
Sacktown also says Davion is, I believe that's a waste paper basket, which I disagree with. But Sacktown says he had plenty of time to prove himself with the Kings. Did he? Did he, Drapes? No matter how you feel about that potential deal. Did Davion Mitchell really have time to prove himself here in Sacramento? Did he?
Do you think he did?
I don't.
Okay. All right.
Because I think for whatever reason, he was making some strides here and there. The shooting improved. And then Mike, I've heard that people say, Mike just doesn't like small guards. He just didn't get to play that much under Mike.
Yeah, and I'll go back to, I've said this a billion times to anyone that'll listen. The system that the Kings ran did not fit Davion Mitchell.
Right.
Davion spent all off season, this is before Mike got here, working with Jimmy Alapag on how to run the pick and roll. Mike comes in.
So we're not doing
the pick. We're putting it in Domas, dribble handoffs. He didn't work on dribble handoffs.
Yeah.
And so, as you see in Miami, he looks much more comfortable with the ball in his hands, making plays, reading and reacting. So even if he got a couple years and change, it still wasn't enough because the system he played in wasn't tailored to what his strengths are.
I know we're going to talk more about everybody's favorite team, the Lakers, here and how they got humiliated. But I want to circle back to something earlier you touched on. You mentioned Kevin Garnett, and it reminded me, I saw this week, Kevin Garnett, and he was on a podcast, and he was talking about how, in his view, it's just different. And it's funny for me because I still think of Kevin Garnett as being fairly current, but he hasn't played in a long time.
It's been a while. Yeah,
it has been. So Kevin Garnett says, I walk into the locker room at halftime. This is when he was with Minnesota towards the end of his career. Walk into the locker room at halftime. I'm used to being in there like, what are we doing on the pick and roll? Let's talk about the game. Pass the Gatorade. Get that leg wrapped. Now he says, I walk in. Nobody's in the locker room. I go to the training room. Everyone's chilling, leg up on the phone. Hey, babe. Hey, girl. This is halftime. So I'm like, I'm OG. Let me get everybody back in the locker room for a second. I call everyone in like, yo, what is this? Ricky Rubio goes, yeah, man. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody's on their phones. We need to figure out the pick and roll. Rubio had an old school spirit. That was the first time I saw this new era of locker room behavior. So I went to Rubio, Zach LaVine, and Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins wasn't vocal, but he was a little leader. I pulled them aside. Listen, I respect y'all. You're the future. But I'm the OG, and I got to bring some traditional stuff in here. I told them, y'all can have your phones, but we're going to talk for 5 minutes about the game before the coaches come in, and they respected that. Kevin Garnett, KG the OG.
That's how it was, huh?
That's what he says, yeah.
I wonder if it's still like that. Guys, run back to the locker room, first thing, pull out their phones and check it and everything. That's what we need, though, Whitey, a KG.
Yeah.
Somebody that sees something and says, you know what? This ain't right. This not how you do it. Let's meet for 5 minutes at least. We don't have anybody like that right now.
Yeah. I guess that was the way it was always done. It's one of those things where Kevin Garnett just took it for granted. This is how you go about it. So that would have been, if that's late in his career, his last year in Minnesota was 2015-16. So that's what we're talking about.
That's what he's talking about.
So Zach LaVine. And that's funny. Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins wasn't vocal, but he was a little leader.
Really? What happened, right? What happened with Wiggs and that leadership? And If he came here, would he be a little vocal or a little leader, you think? Or nah?
I don't know.
I don't know, right?
There was whatever happened with him where he was away from the team for a long time. We don't know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
I know his dad was ill. I have no idea. He hasn't quite been the same since then.
Right.
So I don't know. It's also possible a guy like him, he climbed the mountain. He won a championship.
Yeah.
And maybe for him, it's like, I've already done what I set out to do.
I got my money. I won a title.
I'm playing hard, but I've already done what I set out to do.
Not as motivated winning anymore.
He played so well that year in the postseason.
He did. Dividing Zero says DC is supposed to be the KG Drapes. But you need a player too, right?
Right.
To be that guy.
Coaches are easy to go,
yeah, whatever, coach. But when your teammate looks at you and says, dude, there needs to be a 30 for 30 on Kevin Garnett. In all the stories that people tell about him, slapping the food out of the, reporter's hand or the trainer's hand or whatever. Like, there's so many stories. Shoot, hopefully they include me because I got a few as well. But that's a culture setter, though. That's somebody that comes in, walks in the room, and you straighten up. You stand at attention because the KG is around. We don't have that right now, and I think we need that. We need somebody that holds players accountable. Here's the thing. I know Jay Crowder tried to.
I was just going to mention him. That's where I was going.
But when you don't play and you haven't been there, it's different. Like Udonis Haslem in Miami didn't play, but he had the championship rings and the gravitas in the organization, like the status in the organization. Jay Crowder came in, tried to be vocal, and he still did it at the end, but it's different when you don't actually play. And I wish he would have got some more minutes.
You know what this reminds me of, too, is we're having this discussion was about a year ago when we had JaVale McGee in. Remember JaVale McGee?
Oh, yeah.
Talking about
the
locker room and attitudes and what he was trying to impress upon his teammates.
And he talked about it.
Yeah.
About, how it's a quiet locker room. Feels like guys, don't care really about the wins and losses. We need a dog. I think he even said that. We need a dog as well. And so that's the thing with the Kings. And ever since I've been here, we never had that. We all know they needed Whitey. How come we haven't made a move to get somebody like that?
Because they haven't been close enough where that's the move you make. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When your team's like, this is a championship team, except we need that guy. All right, go get that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you just need more talent, you don't have the luxury of going out and getting a guy because he's a dog.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I was GM the last 3 years. Because a lot of the guys I wanted, their times have passed. Marcus Smart 3 years ago. Even my boy Kelly Olynyk 3 years ago.
He just had surgery, I think.
Did he? Yeah. I mean, now these guys are getting up in age. And, those are the guys I would have brought in, though.
Isn't Trey Lyles a little bit of that from what we've heard? I don't know Trey Lyles.
But Trey's not holding the guys accountable like that. Trey will, push and shove and everything.
I've seen Domas yelling at players on the floor.
Yeah. But that's
an interesting face you're making.
Yeah. No comment on that. I know we up against it. We up against it, Jay.
We got a little time.
What do you mean we got time? What do you mean, dude? Throw the commercial. Yeah, Domas has gotten on guys, but I don't know how much it's resonating. Mike Bibby told a story about Chris Webber being the leader of his Sacramento Kings teams. And Mike said one of the great things about Chris that made him a great leader is he would be the first guy to stand up and say, my bad. Sorry, coach, I got to be better. And I think we're missing that from our team as well. A lot of guys say, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, he's not doing that. Coach ain't doing that.
Sorry, coach, he needs to be better.
Right, exactly. And I think that's where Mike Brown was talking about accountability too, not only with each other, but with yourself, like holding yourself accountable And so I think that's part of the reason. That's part of what we're lacking right now.
There's another reason in my mind that makes it difficult for the Kings to have that. And we'll tell you what that is when we come right back. Sacktown Sports.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half. And if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me. And now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Whitey here with another great grilling tip. The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 Connected Propane Grill with infrared side and rear burner featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings. Boop, boop. All from your smartphone with temperature probes and LCD display. You'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon grills, simply the best.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service. We're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
This is awesome. People sharing their thoughts on what's going on with the Kings and the point guard situation and putting their names on it. How about that?
I know you like that. I know you liked it.
How can we get Tyrese Maxey? Nobody put their name on that. Was that you, Drapes?
No, that was not me.
Can't. Whitey's holding out for Fred VanVleet. LOL. Nobody put their name on that. But we have from Alan. Alan says, talking about Davion, he's a restricted free agent. Making him a competitive offer makes sense. If they match, good for him. If not, I'm sure he would be happy to come back. Jason in Rockland says, don't let the cloudiness of time confuse you.
Ooh.
When we moved on from Davion, nobody really even cared. That's from Jason in Rockland. Understand the point, Jason in Rockland. I don't think that's true because it was basically the Kings got almost nothing back.
Nothing back, yeah.
They got the lesser of the McDaniels who ended up not playing at all for them.
Davion and Sasha for the lesser McDaniels that didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Cap space we got back, though.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which, as you pointed out, they used to help bring in
DeRozan.
DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan.
And so regarding Davion in that restricted free agency, we got the mid-level, 14.1.
Oh, yeah.
That scares Miami off, you think?
Too rich for their blood.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Would you – I was going to ask, would you rather? I want to phrase it that way.
Yeah.
How would you have interest in Tyus Jones? I think we talked about him.
What's his contract situation?
Free agent.
Oh, free agent?
I believe so, if I looked at it correctly. And I think he's been making – I think last year he made 2 something. So – I mean, you could probably get him, I think, unless he's just like, I just don't want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have some interest, but it's not because here's the problem. And I like Tyus Jones. Take care of the ball, assist turnover.
Shot the ball well last year.
Shot the ball well. But Kevin Durant Brad Beal and Devin Booker ain't listening to Tyus Jones. Tyus, come here. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domas. Give me the ball and get out the way, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't know what kind of impact Tyus Jones would have for us. Only made $2 million this year.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I really like the idea of a point guard. Whoever the point guard is has to do all the things offensively, but if he can also defend, really like that.
Right.
That really makes a big difference.
Is your boy Nembhard a solid defender?
I believe he is.
Okay.
He's got the way around that I could say. He's rangy.
I know, right?
I believe he's above average defensively.
Let me look it up. Andrew Nembhard defensive rating. Woo. Rookie season.
Yeah.
120.4. Second year, 120.8.
Well, they play it.
Hold on. Hold
on now.
Hold up. I'm looking at the metrics here, big fella.
What about is it offensively worse? Is he giving up more than he gets?
This last season, 115.8.
What was their offensive rating with him?
Hold up, big fella. Hold up.
Cherry picking on me a little.
No, because that was from StatView, so they didn't.
Okay.
All right, so I look at his offensive rating.
Yeah.
Here on StatMuse.
They're probably like 123 offensive rating and 115 defensive rating.
Here you go, right here. I got it. I got it right here as we speak. Andrew Nembhard, 107.6 in 2022-23. Let me go to 2024. So he was upside down.
That's not good.
Right. In 2024, 114.3. Remember, it's 120 defensive rating.
Yeah.
Now this season.
Here we go.
This is the teller.
Here we go.
111.4.
So he's still upside down?
Still upside down.
Doug will work.
I know, right? I'm just throwing out some numbers here. That's it. I'm not.
What was they weren't great defensively as a team either, were they?
This season?
Yeah.
Pacers defensive rating. I got it right here, pulling it up. This year, Indiana, their defensive rating. Hold up, why did
internet not working?
No, internet. No, you got to do all kinds of
I know
things. All right, defensive rating for Indiana this season. They were 14th in defensive rating. All right, middle of the pack.
All right, I'll revisit that. I'll take another look at that. I just know he's rangy, and he's got a wingspan. We were just talking about the Kings apparently lacking that kind of like an OG, like a Kevin Garnett or somebody.
Yep.
And you told the story about Chris Webber.
Yes,
he was a leader because he was like, hey, that's on me. One of the things I think the Kings lack, and there's no way around it here, is you've had so much turmoil. There's nobody here right now who can say, this is the way we do it here. Because no one knows. There is no way we do it here because there's so much change. It's,
right.
Domas could say, this is the way we've been doing it, but we're not doing it that way anymore.
Right.
So that speaks to the importance of establishing that continuity and that culture. Just when it looked like with Mike Brown, they were starting to establish, this is the way we do it. Right now, they don't have one.
Damn.
Right?
You're right. And even if Domas tried to say that, well, it didn't work, Domas. You may have done it this way before, but that was a failing way. And so, no, you're right. We don't have any culture right now. No, like the infrastructure isn't,
Yeah. I mean, DeMar obviously and all the veterans, but especially DeMar can speak to younger players about this. This is the way you go about your business as an NBA player. But when it comes to the Sacramento Kings, this is how we do things. The answer is, well, we don't really know. We're hoping it's this way. That's what we're trying to do. But that's really got to come right now from the GM and the coach.
Right.
And the players have to embrace that.
And that's what I'm hoping Scott Perry brings, because I look at Scott Perry as a guy that'll come in and say, all right, you guys may have been doing it this way, but this is how I do it. And hopefully that trickles down, coaches, players, staff, everything. There's an identity. And one reason why I'm encouraged is it seems like him and Doug have said a lot of the same things.
Yes.
Like they're on the same page.
Yes.
With that. When I look at successful teams, Whitey, I'm going to throw out Houston, for instance. We know Ime Udoka is running the ship there.
Mm-hmm.
OKC. We know Sam Presti is riding the ship there.
How long has Ime been there? This is his second season?
Second season,
They already have a way.
They already have a way
of doing things.
just like that. But here's the thing, and I said this before, and ownership, management had the backing of Ime. He went out and got players that fit him. Will Scott Perry go out there and get the kind of players that fit Doug? Because here's the thing. I'm going to call it like it is, ladies and gentlemen, listening up. Our roster is what it is. But one of the things that Doug has talked about and preached all throughout this last season is physicality, making you feel him, toughness and everything like that. I don't think we have the roster to play the way that Doug wants to have the identity that Doug wants to have.
Exactly right. Right.
So what is, if Scott doesn't come up and shake it up, will it even matter? Because you got the coach wanting one thing, but the roster reflecting something different. That was an issue with Mike Brown, and Monty McNair.
It seemed like the more he pointed that out, the wider the divide got, right?
Yeah. But maybe, and here's the thing that's going to happen with Scott Perry, Whitey. He talked about adding a point guard. He might just be looking for a stopgap. I'm going to swing for the fence and trying to do this. And if I don't, well, I can add a point guard on some short money.
Yeah.
And then,
that's probably plan B.
Plan B, right? Yeah, I think so. So as a Kings fan, I'm asking the people out there, 916-339-1140, are you hoping Scott Perry comes in and blast off some fireworks? Do you want to see fireworks from this Kings roster this offseason? Or are you okay with some little sparklers, as Whitey says, some little bottle rockets? Pew!
Just not those little smoke bombs.
I love the smoke bombs. I'm a smoke bomb kind of guy. Because they serve its purpose. Everything can't be, rockets, red glare, blasting, lighting up the sky. The little kids, they like those pure little, and they spin around and everything.
There was like
little smoke come out.
A hobo with a cigar. Another one was like a little log cabin. When you're in this chimney, there was one of those. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we usually get those out of the way early. Well, we'll start with that, then we'll get on with the good stuff. Somebody says here, in fact, not just anybody, Spencer Lampkins says, until a coach gets a chance to establish that culture, they won't have one. It takes more than a year and a half to do that. Well, it's what we're just saying about the Rockets. I think it took Ime Udoka
a year,
less than a year.
Right. But he got the players. You get a Van Vliet, you get a Dylan Brooks. Those are. And they also already had guys. The Tari Easons of the world. He plays like that. You know what I mean? Who's the guy that's injured right now? I'm drawing a blank. I saw him in street clothes yesterday. I'll pull it up here in a second. But they already had a couple of guys that fit that mold. Mm-hmm. And then you added other guys to it. And so
you're right.
That's where
otherwise it's just talk. If we're gonna be like this and your players don't fit that.
Jayshawn Tate.
Okay.
They had guys that played that way.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mark joins us on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Mark. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, appreciate the positivity. I guess for me, I'm just a little confused by the makeup of the Kings. To me, they're kind of an offensive only type of team, and our prior coach was a defensive minded guy, and now we got this GM who starts talking about Detroit, and I'm just thinking, man, who on our team even resembles that? Maybe our two young guards, Keegan and Carter, or Keon and Carter, then maybe Keegan. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like our big pieces are. I wouldn't even qualify them as two-way players. I guess the Sabonis, he's a good rebounder. I wouldn't really think of him as a defensive player. I'm just kind of confused how he's going to reshape this team without making some big moves. How can you just work around the edges about this offensive team and turn them into the Detroit Pistons? It just doesn't make sense. So I'm hoping he makes some big swings.
Thank you, Mark. I think those are great points.
Right. No, you're right. It's how do you change the identity without changing the roster?
Yeah.
You want these cats out here to have different color stripes They are who they are.
One thing that is significant, Mark, is that Scott Perry at that press conference that he had a few weeks ago, he talked about, it's important that we have a defensive presence. Now, it is just talking to you actually execute that with your roster. But Monty never said that. And Monty was just, he acting on his marching orders. But he would say, he literally said, we just need the defense to be good enough.
Right. Good enough. He never talked about top 5 defense or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
So to me, that's promising.
But whose fault, real quick here, whose fault is that? Monty hired Mike Brown. He knew who Mike Brown was, and then he abandoned it, the philosophy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or did upper managed ownership, give him a little snip and cut him off, and, then we know Vivek's an offensive guy, right? He wants offense. Monty, you hire Mike Brown, I feel like defense should be a priority.
I just know if you go back to the interview, one of the interviews that Vivek Ranadive did with, I think, Mark Spears.
Yeah.
Right when Mike Brown was hired, he talked about it, and he said, it's one of the first things I talked to Mike Brown about is like, you're a defensive coach, but the NBA is all about offense now. I'm paraphrasing. But to me, it's pretty clear. Could be wrong, but that's my read is like it was Mike and Vivek, and they couldn't find common ground on, are we offense? We need to be more defensive.
Right.
Yeah. How about Pam on Sacktown Sports? Hey, Pam, thanks for hanging. What's up?
Hey, I'm confused too. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Okay, first, everybody says Sabonis, or a lot of people say he's our best player, but he has the limitation of not defending the rim, so he's primarily offensive. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then you got Keon, who they say, not Keon, Murray. Okay, we say Keegan Murray, yeah. We say he does a lot of defensive things. He takes on the other side's best player, but he doesn't get in there and defend the rim either, right?
Yep.
So it seems to me you got to fill the gaps. You can't have two players that are playing close to the same area on the court, and neither one of them defend the rim. And then you got the same problem with DeRozan and what's his name? Levine, right?
Yeah.
And those two are both offensive. Neither one of them are very defensive. And so the only time we have any real defensive guys on the floor is when we have Keon. Then now we need a point guard. So our point guard needs to be defensive, but nobody can come up with an idea of a defensive point guard that fits. So to me, how do you write this team without changing some of that?
Thank you, Pam. I think you're right on the money. The only thing I'd quibble with is, Keegan's not a rim protector per se. Keegan's a good defender, but he's not like supposed to be back there blocking shots.
No, yeah, I think that's what she said, though, right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, he's not supposed to. Yeah.
She's just pointing out you got Sabonis. He's not a rim. Keegan's not a rim protector. Keon's not. How are you supposed to find rim protection if you don't make changes to the roster?
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Also, the perimeter defense you talked about, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, then they weren't very good defending the perimeter, and when that's dribble penetration. The best form of rim protection is keep the ball out of the damn key in the first place, and the Kings weren't very good at that either.
And lastly on this, Whitey, I'll say it's one thing not to be a good defender. It's another thing to be a minus defender. And I feel like that was the issue. We how many positive plus defenders do we have, or solid defenders in our starting lineup?
3? Well, no, starting lineup
2. After that, maybe 3 on the whole roster.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, and I'm gonna include Jake also. I'm gonna give Jake LaRavia.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough even just average defenders on our team.
Yeah, and it's tough to consistently win that way.
Yeah.
All right. Back with more on what went wrong for Drapes Lakers last night.
This guy.
Ken Rudolph's going to join us in a little bit as well.
Oh, my God.
Talking about the Run for the Roses, a Kentucky Derby. More Kings talk when we come back. Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
There are so many benefits of working with the overhead door company of Sacramento. Now, we chose them to get our new garage doors, and we're so thrilled that we did. They look absolutely amazing. Jason Ross here. And for us, well, we just flat out needed new garage doors. But maybe you do as well, or maybe it's just repairs to your existing doors. Well, the overhead door company of Sacramento can help you with that. It is also a great time of year because this is when homes go on the market. So is yours ready? Well, one thing, don't forget about that garage door, because a new garage door can increase the value of your home. First off, with Curb Appeal, a new modern or stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your house. Also, the return on investment. It is one of the most cost-effective upgrades to increase your home value. You can see for yourself. Just visit the showroom off Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Memorial Day is the unofficial beginning of summer and a time to reflect on the blessings we enjoy living in this country. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At Naturewood's Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like two sales in one. Take 10% off regular prices or get 24 months of no-interest financing with payments on approved credit. Then you can choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, you can shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishings. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for that water wheel.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Having an interesting conversation on the Kings and culture, and can you have the type of team identity that you say you want to have if you don't change the roster? From the 916 here on the text line. Shout out to Pam, call of the day candidate.
Yeah, Pam was good.
Mm-hmm. From the 916, I think Davion Mitchell could be that guy without Fox and Hallie here. That's from Dino. Thank you, Dino. 916, I'll let you answer this one, Drapes. How about Ben Simmons?
Carmichael Dave burner phone chiming in here on the Drive, guys. Thanks, but no thanks.
No thanks. Did you see that little hook shot he took a couple games ago?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see it. I missed
He's
it.
like Jokic was giving him, 8 feet, like, please shoot it. And Ben Simmons was trying to find somebody to pass it to, and he couldn't. So he finally turned and threw up maybe like a 5-footer, and it didn't hit anything.
Didn't hit anything?
Didn't hit
Ben's
anything.
That's terrible.
It was really poor. Yeah.
No thanks to Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want him at all.
Whitey, they do have someone to say that now it's Coach Doug, he has a clean slate to set the culture and the way he wants things to be done by telling them how to get things done. But as you pointed out, Coach can only go so far with that.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, one of the and Whitey, you've coached before. How many times have we heard somebody so-and-so's an extension of the coach on the floor? Who's the extension of Doug on the floor? Keon?
That's what I was going to say a little bit. Yeah.
Right. You got to squint and look very hard, too, to give them that. And so that's where we're lacking right now. And so I do hope Scott and Doug work together and bring in the type of players that mirror the identity that they want to have here in Sacramento.
Listen to this. What do you think of this? I just saw this on X. This is Tom Gores. Tom Gores is the Pistons owner.
Yeah, Pistons.
On the direction of the team given this year's success. Our urgency is not going to stop. That is an organizational motto here. We have to move with urgency. The urgency is not going to change. End quote. I like that.
No, it's true. It's true.
They've been terrible for years. They burst through this year.
Right.
Oh, is it time to kind of sit back, smell the roses?
No.
No, the urgency never stops.
It's interesting that he would, and I'm looking at his statement now that he put out, talking about how hard the players compete with passion and teamwork. This is impressive. I like this from Tom Gores. We'll keep building together. We'll keep competing. And together, we will keep proving that Detroit basketball is more than a game. It's a way of life.
That's the guy at the very top.
That's the top.
Setting the tone for everything.
What are you saying then?
I'm saying that's a good way to establish what you want done when the person at the very top.
Yeah, but, I will say, not every owner has to be like, there's other ways you can do it too. Milwaukee's ownership group, I haven't heard come out and say, when they won a title with Giannis. And so you don't have to be, but it doesn't hurt though. It would be nice.
Here, I'll say this is not you saying this.
All right.
But it's difficult when you've got ownership that people feel, and has been reported they're heavily involved, but they don't face the public. That's a tricky combination for fans.
Right.
And I think we have some of that here. That's the perception is like, well, if you're running things, but you're not coming out and telling us what's going on, why not? So
right. And then I wonder how much Monty felt like the shield, he took all the shots and all the hits, when it should have been higher up, maybe in his eyes.
Maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
How about this from the 916? And I did not text this in.
Check his phone, Whitey. Check his phone.
Sign Dennis Schroeder. Trade DeRozan to the Heat for Duncan Robinson and Jaime Jaquez. Then sign Clint Capella or Chris Boucher.
All right. You accomplished some things there.
What about that Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez?
I don't know if you're going to get that much for tomorrow, are you?
I don't
know.
I can,
I don't know. I would.
I don't know. You reading the other one too?
Length.
Yeah.
About Markelle Fultz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about a more complete look at Markelle Fultz at the point?
That's from Wags and Elk Grove.
Elk Grove, he put his name on it.
They gave him every opportunity this year.
Did they really, though?
They gave him opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
We want you to, and he just played terribly.
I mean, it's a guy coming off an injury, didn't have a training camp or anything.
But Drapes, whether you're coming off of an injury or not, you don't go and literally hand the ball to the other team.
I wouldn't be opposed to Markelle coming back and seeing more of him. To me, I haven't seen enough from Markelle Fultz. In Sacramento here. He played 21 games. Is that really enough? 21 games to make up the mind? I need to see a little more. Just a little bit more, Whitey.
I think he had a big opportunity here and he was not able to seize it.
I agree with that.
But he is a guy that'll play a little defense, won't he?
Yeah, he definitely plays some defense.
Is he a point guard at this? Is he truly a point guard? He can play point.
I think he is. I need to see more of Markelle. I like Markelle as a potential backup point guard. I'm not saying the answer as our starter, but I would like to see Markelle get some more time. Because here's the thing, Whitey. I went back to Orlando when the Kings played and everybody raved about Markelle, the leader that he is, the teammate that he is, the person that he is.
But then why? I have nothing against him, but why did it take so long for anybody to sign him?
He's coming off injury. And I thought it was criminal that he wasn't in the league because he wasn't bad in Orlando. So I don't know. I don't know why it took so long. All I do know is
an option.
Orlando loves him. But they got a plethora of guards. They got and they got KCP, and so I get it. You got Cole Anthony, Suggs, like you got plenty of guards.
Yeah.
And so I get it. But man, there's something there. I'm not saying he's a 30-minute per night guy, but as a backup, I think there's something there, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying get rid of him, but I'm just, if you're thinking he's the answer, I don't know. But as long as you have him on the roster, when he does at his best do some things that you need, all right, another option.
And I think,
I just don't know what he was playing well for a while, and then he just played terribly.
But he's one of those guys too that you come into a new situation, you're trying to fit in. And how about this, Whitey? I'm looking at some of his numbers right here. Over his last one, I may even go back. Oh, Whitey, hold on now. I think we need to start putting some more respect on Markelle Fultz.
Score, big fella.
We need to start putting some more respect on Markelle Fultz here, Whitey, because I'm looking at some of his numbers right now, and I know we got to get to my guy Ken Rudolph coming up. But over his last 15 games or so, Markelle Fultz, 5 turnovers.
How many minutes did you play? 6?
No, I got games 12, 11, 13, 15, 10, 11, 8. It just there was a stretch where it was just like he was turning it over. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Ken Rudolph joins us with a Kentucky Derby preview and more. Next, Sacktown Sports.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states and situations.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything? Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Five Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Drapes, are you ready to catch up with a Sacramento TV legend?
Legend.
I've been waiting all day for this, boys.
Yeah?
Yeah, one of my favorite guys to watch back in the day when I was working in Louisville, Kentucky.
Really?
Yep. I used to look at TVG all the time. they featured horse racing and see Ken Rudolph and say,
Ken Rudolph,
I want to be that guy. That's who I want to. No lie. Like I literally looked up to Ken Rudolph, and what he did with TVG. So this is an exciting time for me.
How about that, Ken?
That's fantastic. That's a great way to end up out of a job if you want to be like me. That's a great way to end up on your way out the door. Because all I do is challenge managers and bosses on a daily basis, and they do not like that. Gentlemen, how are you?
Ken, what's up, man? What's up? Where you at right now, Ken? Where you at?
I'm at home in Los Angeles, working out here, freelancing, doing some things, and just keeping it moving, enjoying myself, having a great time. It's great to talk to both of you. Jay, I see you back there, bro. Always good to holler at you, man. That's my dude.
Respect, legend.
Whitey, great to finally meet you. And Kyle, positivity on social media. We haven't had a chance to really connect, but you told me about your connection with Louisville, and we exchanged some messages. You were very, very kind, and I appreciate you. And I have questions for you, bro, about Boston. We'll get to that a little bit later on.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, I'll give it to you the real. I'll give you the real on that.
But in the meantime, I'm just here hanging out, doing my thing, and getting ready for a huge weekend. Trying to make some money again with this derby, man. It's crazy. Stuff's happening every single second of the day.
Ken may be, he's probably not, but I was thinking he may be the only Kings, Los Angeles Angels fan.
I saw that. I'm like,
I'm sure there are others, but it's an interesting combination. Before we get to the derby, Ken, I'm just curious, how you feeling about everything swirling around the Kings? Up and down season, crazy season, and Doug Christie's the coach, Scott Perry's the GM. How are you as a Kings fan feeling about all of that, if I may ask?
Man, I love Doug Christie. I think everybody knows that. Doug and I have been friends for a long time. We work together there at the radio station. Doug is an exceptional person, and I love everything about Doug Christie. I think everyone there loves everything about Doug Christie. With that being said, that's the
I was waiting for that. Yeah. I was waiting for that.
That's the only thing I can say that I feel good about. I mean, I'm sure the general manager is going to be able to put some pieces into place, but man, I don't know what they're doing and what they're going to do. And I just hope that Doug can get them to play a little bit like he did. I think Doug might be the only player we've ever had in the Sacramento Kings era that is known for defense. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a second player that we've ever had that was known for their defense. Like we had back in the day, when Mitch Richmond was carrying the team, we had Michael Smith, who all he did was rebound and play defense. But I can't think of any other player that when they went out every single night, you knew that dude was going to be on the floor. You knew it. And Doug's the only guy I've ever seen do that. And I don't know if it's something in the water or something in the arena, but they got to find somebody to play hard, man, because this ain't going to work at all. So y'all are in baseball purgatory and basketball hell at the same time.
Wow.
Wow. I want to ask you about baseball, Ken. Yeah, I know you're a Sacramento native. What do you think about these A's, man?
So here's the thing. I was just thinking about that. At first, I sided with the players, right? The players like, I don't want to walk into this rinky-dink baseball stadium. I worked hard to get to the majors. I'm in the majors now, right? I don't want to go to Sacramento and play in that rinky-dink minor league stadium. So I got that, right? Aaron Judge's going to hit balls all the way to the freeway. I get that. But as a dad who has a 14-year-old son who's an awesome baseball player who loves baseball, I would be super ecstatic because Major League Baseball is right there at my fingertips. Yeah. I can take my 14-year-old son to go see the A's right there anytime I want. And so that would be exciting for me. Yeah. But anything other than that, like I don't understand. I don't know what the future is. And it's just confusing. I feel bad for you guys. I kind of do. I'm like, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still figuring out how even we're supposed to feel about the whole thing, Ken. Speaking of feelings, can I ask, is all of LA just in mourning over LeBron and Luka and the Lakers today?
I have the rare gift of being able to ignore things that I don't give two bleeps about. I do not care about the Lakers. I don't give a damn about Luka. Luka's not a winner, so I don't care about him. It's one thing about basketball players. You guys know this too. You can see in 5 seconds if that basketball player is a winner or not. You can tell in 5 seconds. And Luka's not a winner. He doesn't want to do the stuff that's required to win a basketball game. Ant is a winner. LeBron's a winner, but he needs help. So it doesn't, media tries to make it like it's a big deal. I didn't hear anybody talking about it here, right? They've already moved on to Dodgers.
Oh, okay.
So,
hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like no one really says anything about it. So I don't care. And I don't think they do either.
Man, all right, Ken. Let's talk horse racing, man. Because Ken, I worked in.
You gonna ask about the Angels yet?
No, we're not, man.
Oh, okay, all right.
I need to figure out. I'll tell you, Ken. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, so I got to throw some money down on the ponies.
Yeah.
Tell me about this field for the Kentucky Derby. What is it? 151 this year?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. What about this field? What can you tell me about it?
And what do you think of my pick, Luxor Cafe, Ken? Is that a good pick?
And you're throwing it out there already?
I know. You got to build up to that, Whitey.
That's
All
an
right.
awesome pick. That's an awesome pick, Whitey. That's my second choice.
Nice.
But what's happening is the field is changing. We just lost a huge runner about 2 hours ago. So, Kyle, you know this, and Whitey, I'm sure you know this as well. The most recognizable face in all of horse racing is one man. It's Bob Baffert.
Yeah.
All he does is win. And the haters can hate on him, and he does not care. And I love Bob. He's been exceptional to me. He's a close family friend. He was like the first guy to support me when I got hired back in 99 with TVG. Just an incredible guy. Was there for my son being born. Just awesome. Right? He's great. He had 4 horses. Now he's down to 1. He had a horse this afternoon named Rodriguez, who's super fast. And that horse had to scratch. So now he's got 1 horse left named Citizen Bull. This happens to be the 2-year-old champion that won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. But he hasn't progressed since that victory. So he's kind of a one-dimensional horse. All he has is early speed. He's stuck on the inside, which is horrible for the Derby. So the field is changing now. Plus, at least 2 inches of rain.
Oh,
forecast
really? Wow.
Only on Saturday. So we've got maybe a sprinkle tonight, maybe a little bit on Friday. And then the clouds, the sky's just going to open up on Saturday morning and rain all day through the Derby and into Sunday. So that's 2 inches of rain on the track by the time we get to post time. And Whitey, your pick loves the off track. Actually, Luxor Cafe loves everything. That thing runs on broken glass. That horse is a beast. He's a badass, if I can say that. He's just incredible. So I think you're onto something. I think he'll be in the exotics. I've used him in my my double. Excuse me, my off here.
Yeah,
I used him in my double, and so I'm just going to play. There's a filly in the Oaks on Friday. She's undefeated. Her name is Good Cheer. So I'm going to put her in the Oaks Derby double.
Okay.
And I'm going to single her. And then in the Derby, I just like 2 horses and 2 horses only. Luxor Cafe. But my top pick is a horse by the name of Final Gambit. And he's a freak. He's a freak of a runner. And he likes to close from back of the pack. And he's got an amazing turn of foot. He'll be motoring. When they turn for home, they'll be like, da, 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 and then you'll hear the track announcer goes, and here comes Final Gambit. He'll just come out of nowhere. He will come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you'll be like, who's this horse that's running like he's on fire? What is going on? That's Final Gambit. So,
go ahead, Jay.
No, go ahead.
Ken, real quick, if I'm reading up on it, Final Gambit's never ran on dirt, right? Am I 100% on that?
Look at you being a producer.
Oh, yeah, well, you know,
Jay doing some research.
We pay attention to the ponies here on the drive, guys.
Yeah, so that's the thing that makes him a freak. So it hasn't been done since 2011. There was a horse named Animal Kingdom who had never run on dirt before. And when he got on that dirt track, he blew them away because he already had this great turn of foot and he had fitness from running on the turf and running on the synthetic. When he got to the dirt, it was nothing for him. So I feel like Final Gambit is Animal Kingdom Part 2. And he's going to be in a great spot. With the track being sloppy, he has the highest wet track number of any runner in the field. He has the highest number for the distance at 1.25 miles. So horse racing is all about 2 things: numbers and your vibe. You got to vibe with the horse. Something has to be about it that says something to you. You're like, you know what? I want this. So I love Final Gambit. Whitey, I love Luxor Cafe. These Japanese horses are getting better every single year. You knew the money they spent over there to try to win our races. It's crazy. It is crazy what they're doing. So maybe they'll get lucky and get it this year.
Yeah. American Pharaoh's child, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, come on, brother.
Going to win eventually.
Okay. Triple Crown winner. Yep.
Yeah, Ken Rudolph with us. Ken, I know a lot of people are high on journalism, but can journalism win when journalism is essentially dead in our country?
You ain't lying about that. But you know what? He is a really talented horse. I have a problem with, so competition is what gets these horses ready. It's all about the prep races.
Yeah.
If you haven't had really any challenges in your prep races, I don't know how you're going to deal with 19 other horses on a muddy track that you've never run on before in your life. And you're chipping out of town for the first time. So one of the first things they taught me 25 years ago was never take a favorite doing something for the first time. So this horse is shipping out for the first time. He's seeing a field of 19 horses for the first time. And he's going to be running on the off track for the first time. And he's going to be the favorite in a race that's impossible to win. There's absolutely no way that I would ever tell anyone to bet that horse.
Wow. Interesting.
He's a good horse, but you just don't take short prices in the Derby unless that horse is a super horse. And if he is, then we'll find out on Saturday. But I'm not messing with him.
Hey, Ken, up against it here, just a couple of minutes. All right, give me a long shot, and where can I get a racing form out here in Sacramento?
You know what? I never bought a racing form in my life.
What?
Well,
I'm old school, Ken. I like to flip through the pages. Look at the buyer numbers, all that.
It was always free. So
all right.
they provided it for us. So
that's a flex right there. That's a flex right there.
Come on, now. I'm traveling the world covering racing. You can't give me a $4 form every day. Come on, they give me some form every day. But I don't know where you can get one, but I get everything online.
Okay,
and it's a lot easier to look at the past performances online. But I get that whole thing where you need to go through and get that black ink all over your fingers.
Yeah.
You're looking at the form. And then you're touching your face and your clothes. You got stuff all over you. But Final Gambit is 30-1 on the morning line. Now, he's already being bet in the advanced wagering. So he's probably going to go off. He'll be 17-20-1.
Okay.
That's good enough price. You're not going to find a live long shot because they're all so even. The only horse that's going to be a major long shot is a horse named Chunk of Gold, and he has no shot. No shot.
That's Drape's horse right there.
I was about to throw down a couple dollars on him.
That's a pony right there. A mini horse.
Chunk of Gold.
Drape has his horse.
All right. Hey, look, Rich Strike won this race at 80-1 a couple years ago, and everyone said he had no shot. So anything can happen. When I picked Giacomo in 2005 at 50-1, everyone's like, you got no shot. And we won that race.
Yeah.
When I picked Country House a few years ago, it was like, you got no shot. And we won that race, 65-1. So, yeah, I guess the horse might have a chance, but I'm not messing with him. I'm not messing with him. Okay, before we go, can I ask you a question, Kyle?
Yeah, what you got?
How long are you in Boston? Like 11 years?
11 years, yes.
Can you answer me this one question?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are born and raised in Boston. Have you ever in your life met a black person from Boston that said park the car in the yard for a quarter?
Never. Never. Not a black person. Never.
What?
Never. That's a great question. Never. That's a Hollywood thing. I mean, there's some, you go to certain neighborhoods in Boston, but not anybody that looks like me. No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are they posers, Ken? Is that they're just
trying to figure out? I'm like, that's a regional thing, and everyone that is of European descent speaks with that accent.
Right.
I'm like, well, black people are born and raised there. How come they don't?
They don't have
That's
that?
interesting.
That is true.
Huh.
Never thought about that.
We'll all look into it. Next time we have you on, maybe one of us will have discovered the answer. How about that?
Well, you guys got your super producer back there. Jay will get the answer. I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Did you have one more, Jay? You want to squeeze in?
Oh, I was just gonna ask about my boy Grande. 20-1. What you thinking there, my brother? Yes, Grande.
Hey,
lightly ran horse. Lightly ran horse, but he got the speed, the wheels.
Todd Pletcher
Give me a little
horse
something
too.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. This is amazing. He's my third choice because he has a lot of talent, and as you mentioned, he's lightly raced, but he's got speed. And he gets the services of an incredible jockey. Johnny Velasquez is unbelievable. Yeah. Johnny V, we call him. You know that guy. Johnny V is the man. So, I'm a little concerned because he hasn't really had to deal with traffic before. So we'll see if he can deal with that traffic. But yeah, man, he's going to float up too. He's going to float up.
You're a trifecta coming my way.
Right,
the box.
Ken, thank you. I know this is kind of your busy season. We appreciate your time very much and enjoy the race. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Hey, guys, I really appreciate you having me on. You keep doing what you're doing. Keep it pushing. And I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right,
Ken.
Thank you.
All right, man.
The legend, Ken Rudolph, when we come back, how the Lakers were humiliated last night. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
Hey, Marvel fans, get ready for the next heroes to hit the largest screen in Sacramento with Thunderbolts, the IMAX experience, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown.
You thought you were going to be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Filmed for IMAX, the best place to immerse yourself in Marvel's Thunderbolts is on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen and thunderous sound system. Get your reserved seats today at IMAX.com/Sacramento. Thunderbolts playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, when the A's beat the Rangers in Arlington to kick off the most recent road trip, with J.P. Sears getting his 4th win, the A's improved to 15-14, the latest in a season they've been over 500 since 2021. Can they contend this year? Well, as we close the book on April, the American League West is the tightest division in baseball. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Jose Leclerc, right-handed pitcher out with that right lat strain, is currently shut down from throwing. Will receive a second opinion with the doctor this week. Zach Geloff, out with that fractured right hand, is set to begin a rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas this week as well. Goal is to get around 35 at-bats, and that will put him in line for a return in early May. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222, and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Somebody's coming after me about what I said about Davion. We'll get to that in just a second. Drive Guys here. I got a question for you guys. Draymond Green and the Warriors, of course, they just came out flat last night. Draymond's supposed to be a basketball genius, right? He's supposed to be, great thinker.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be a genius.
Depending on who you talk to, yeah.
If he's a basketball genius, why does he put his daughter's basketball hoop
Near
right on the
cliff?
edge of a cliff of a wildlife reserve?
That's a great question, Whitey.
Right on the cliff.
That's a great question.
And then you take your Jeep down there and you come back up, and then our first thing.
And then does it again.
Yeah. You got to come with me this time.
It's like, dude, make a change. Move the hoop a little bit, right?
Yes. I don't think he's such a basketball genius if he does that.
I agree with you. Not a genius at all.
Right.
Not a genius.
No one talks about that. No one ever talks about that or brings that up. Boy, they got flattened last night.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great to see. They were out of it early. You know, Steph struggled early. Jimmy Butler struggled. And so, no, I thought it was great. I enjoyed every second of it, except when the subs came in and started bringing them back. But I love seeing the Warriors go down.
You're a big
like
Pat Spencer fan. You like the way Pat Spencer
Spencer
doesn't back down from anyone or anything.
He looks like that dude that should never score, never dribble. Like, he looks like a water boy or one of the guys that mopped the floor and stuff like that and somehow got a uniform.
And I know you know this. Not only does he belong, his brother's in the league too.
Who's his brother again?
The other Spencer.
The other Spencer.
I've seen him. I forget who he's on. I think they're both in the league.
Really?
Or they have been this year.
Pat Spencer.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Come on. No offense, but born in David. All right, let me see.
Yeah.
Pat Spencer's brother. I got it right here. Wait,
yeah.
His younger brother Cam played college basketball with the Rutgers, UConn. He was drafted with the 53rd pick by the Pistons before his rights were traded to the Grizzlies. There you go.
Maybe it's with the Grizzlies. I saw
his
him play
Grizzlies. You might have saw him.
Yeah.
Cam Spencer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says Anthony Slater told us so today. We all know this. The Warriors playing with fire. You know, if they don't take care of their business. Tomorrow night, Game 6, back home. I think Jimmy was ailing. He was sore, stiff. Steph has that swollen thumb, and they were getting roughhouse last night. I think they figured, yeah, we're probably better off just getting a night's rest. Let's go out there in the second half. We gave you 5 minutes and then wave the white flag. So,
dang, dude, why does I'm sorry, but somebody coming at you.
What about
on
now?
the text line?
On the text line?
Yeah,
now?
I don't know what's going on here, dude.
Oh, yeah. I know Whitey was sad to see the Warriors lose last night. Him and Styles probably watched it together. They're both undercover Warriors fanboys.
You want to answer to those charges?
I've told you that I am rooting for the Warriors in this series. I've told you that. That I haven't I don't know. I told you that. I was not sad to see the Warriors lose. It was just a blowout. And I'm glad we get more games. Don't act. I told you that. I told you
Jay,
that.
This guy, that's like being a Dodgers fan in San Francisco or something.
We've been over this. This is not breaking news.
Explain it one more time.
Yeah, exactly.
One more time.
I can't stand the Rockets.
Tell me why. Is it just because of Dylan Brooks? You don't like their coaching?
They're obnoxious.
And Draymond's not?
Oh, Draymond's very obnoxious. They're like a whole team of Draymonds. And it's like, shut up and make a shot. They could still win the series. I'm not a big Ime Udoka fan. I'm not a big Dylan Brooks fan. I'm not a big Fred VanVleet fan.
Really? You don't like VanVleet?
I'm not a big fan.
Is that because he beat the Warriors a few years ago?
No. Okay. Not a big fan. I was actually rooting for the Toronto
Raptors
series.
back then?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How Dylan Brooks do last night, by the way? I didn't check the box score. Let me look him up.
All I know is that when that game 4, when Jimmy went at him.
Hold on.
Remember when Jimmy went at him and said, you're this and you're that? From the rest of the game, the score of that game was Jimmy 23, Dylan Brooks nothing.
What? How was Dylan Brooks last night?
I don't know.
Any idea how Dylan Brooks did?
You
Let
got
me
it
look.
right in front of you.
All right.
Let's take 5 minutes again for Kyle to look something up.
That box score.
24 points for Dylan Brooks. 7 of 13.
He had a good game.
Jimmy Butler, 2 for 10, 8 points. Come
Jimmy
on, Whitey.
struggle.
Yeah. Okay. It happens sometimes.
You think Dylan Brooks is better than Jimmy
No,
Butler?
I'm saying you can't look at one game and say, this guy sucks. He's terrible.
Oh, I haven't liked him for a long time, but I will say since he went to Houston, he's really elevated his game. I don't like to say it, but he has.
You know why I like Dylan Brooks? And I've liked Dylan Brooks before. But if you watch the Court of Gold documentary, you watched it,
I've only
right?
seen a little bit of it.
Oh, you don't see? Like the family side of him with his mom, grandmom, and everything. he plays the villain role, but I think really on the inside he's emotional. You know what I mean? Sensitive, emotional. It's just a role that he's playing.
But how would you know that? You may be 100% right, but how would you know that?
Because I'm that way in my life sometimes. You see me on the basketball court?
Teflon Don.
Come on, Jay. I'm getting into fights. I'm shoving and pushing.
Oh, you Draymond?
Yeah, I'm Draymond. I'm Dylan.
Xavier.
Somebody going up for a layup. I'm grabbing the arm and everything. And so that's how I am.
He did come across. He did come across on that.
Like they say Draymond is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's played well with the Rockets. He does what his team needs him to do. And this whole, not even a controversy about, hey, are you taking a swipe at Steph Curry's hand? He says, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I guess it was your cohorts, your coworkers at NBC Sports Bay Area. I believe they said something, and then someone asked Dylan Brooks about the broadcasters. Now, maybe they were talking about whoever did the game nationally.
No, they were talking about Fitz and Kalena.
Okay.
Because it said Warriors broadcast crew says
your
that.
coworkers. So
Not
Dylan Brooks just said,
I never work with those guys. I never.
For your teammates.
Everybody knows I'm a Kalena. Kalena's my guy.
Okay.
Kalena Azubuike.
I'm a Jim Barnett guy.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You going okay?
He's a really good guy. Fitz, I know him.
Fitz seems to be a good guy too.
Yeah.
Hung out with him a couple of times. Good guy.
Yeah.
He's just a little overly homerish on the call, and I get that. I understand that. But Kalena's a super nice dude too. I like Kalena.
Yes.
So
anyway, what I was going to say is Dylan Brooks with the high-fiving, going after Steph Curry's hand. That's what he should be doing. I think it's a dumb rule, but it's the rule. It's legal.
Should that be a foul?
It's not now, but yes, it should be for player safety, I think. I mean, playing basketball, if I'm shooting and you're swapping my hand, that's affecting my shooting. That's a foul. It's not in the NBA, so it's legal. And if Dylan Brooks is on my team and he's doing that and it's legal, it's like, that's what you should be doing. And if the other coach is complaining about it, you should be doing it more. So I understand that.
Yeah, there's a couple rules I don't like either. How about the driving down the lane, pass, and then there's contact, or it's after a shot? Like, it seems like if you don't have the ball, it's harder to get a foul called. I've seen guys, dribble, drive, pass it off, and then plow into a guy.
Yeah.
But because he made the pass first, it's not an offense. It's just like, there's a number of different rules. That one, honestly, until Steve Kerr brought it up, and until, it was brought up in this game, I didn't think anything of it, to be honest with you. Had you thought about it before?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
That should be a foul.
Okay.
But it's not. So,
It's not.
yeah, I'm not saying.
It's like once the ball is released, you could plow into a guy or
take shots at Steph Curry's thumb, which again, that's what you should be doing. Here's a guy coming after me on fending off.
Man, they're coming at you all the time
from
here.
all directions here.
Go get them, guys. Get them.
Sacramento V and the chat's up. Whitey, how did Fultz get an opportunity, but Mitchell didn't? Mitchell had way more time because Mitchell was your first round draft pick. So you should give him more time. You should give him more time than he got. Markelle Fultz, sure, he was a number one pick, but he wasn't your number one pick. You got him essentially almost off the scrap heap. So he's not going to get as long of a leash. He doesn't get as big of an opportunity, as long as an opportunity as your number one draft pick is supposed to get, sir. That's all.
All right. Yeah. You going at Sacramento V now, huh? He's
coming at me.
All right.
Coming at me. Yeah. And if either one of them can play, you get both of them and they both play. That's fine. That's great. Markelle Fultz is still, you have him. So, yeah, he's got another opportunity, right? Unless they send him somewhere.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. For once, I'm glad that they're coming at you and not me. For once.
Got more?
Oh, yeah. Text line is
Yep.
Whitey
talking up the Warriors as usual.
Taking up for the Warriors.
Taking up for the Warriors.
Dude.
That's the same guy, by the way.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me see here.
Yeah.
All right.
Who also says the Kings would be lucky to have Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
That's that same 209 number. Bless you, 209.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Stockton's finest, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where do we go from here?
Could be Stanislaw. Could be Modesto. Mantika.
Oh, yeah, my
could
bad.
be something else.
My bad. Mantika.
We'll come back.
Tracy.
Quick break.
Where it all went wrong. for the Lakers and what that means for the NBA and the Kings, for that matter, next on Sacktown Sports. Bring it!
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands, America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pearl Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at sacktownsports.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Knicks are leading the Pistons 45-38, second quarter. Do you think, Drapes, we're going to get a Game 7 out of this, or a Game 7 out of the Clippers and Nuggets, or a Game 7 out of the Warriors and the Rockets?
I think Nuggets win tonight. They're at home. No, are they at home? No, they're on the road.
They're on the road. Then they'd go back.
Yeah, so I'm predicting 2 Game 7s then. I got the home teams winning today, even though Detroit's down by 7 here.
Will you like the Pistons to come back in this one?
Yeah, that's good right there, baby. Oh, Tim Hardaway Jr. Yeah, I'm a Pistons guy in this series.
I am too. And maybe it's a defense mechanism.
How is that a foul? Come on.
I don't know if they're going to win. I hope they do.
This officiating has been atrocious.
Passed to Josh Hart underneath, and he ran into.
All right, he grabbed him, but I hate the
his arm around his
offensive
waist.
player initiating the contact though.
Mm-hmm.
At first, we talked about this off air. The old push off with the off arm to get the separation to hit the shot.
You know what gets me, and I could understand how this would be difficult. You know, you see a call, something happens in a basketball game. There's a collision, 2 bodies collide, or somebody's arms they slap into each other. And the official has to call it like, boom.
Yeah.
That's a big call. And then the players come over and they're asking them for an explanation. And you know that at least half the time, the referee really would want to go, I really didn't see it, But they're always like, oh, no.
Right.
And then they show them, no, your hip was a centimeter out this way.
Yeah.
That's
hilarious.
Difficult.
Yeah, it's a tough job, though. I give the officials a lot of crap. But I wouldn't want to do it. I don't envy them at all. But I don't know. I'm wound up kind of tight with the NBA right now.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I'm, hitting 50, got that old man get off my lawn kind of. See, now that was a foul. All right.
That's what I hate. I don't know if they would have done it there, but when there's contact and they let it go, the official lets it go to see if the shot
missed. Right.
If it's missed, it's a foul.
Oh, then it's a foul.
If it's a foul, it's a foul.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brunson. I wish I didn't like his dad so much.
He's having a good game, 8 for 11 with 4 assists. Cade all the way.
Oh, got to make that, big fella. Got to make that.
Well, the Knicks play with heart, don't they? They don't defend. Well, they literally do. They don't defend as well this year, but they're playing hard.
Yeah.
I wish the Kings could have found a way to get OG Anunoby.
Dude, what happened on that?
He didn't want to come here, right?
Was he?
It didn't get as far as a Siakam.
Right.
thing.
Siakam got farther. Yeah. Damn. We could have used him or Siakam.
Yeah.
They would have been both perfect fits.
Really good fits. Yeah.
And what was De'Aaron asking for?
Uh-huh.
Wings, length.
Right.
Hit that. That's Beasley. That's buckets.
Buckets Beasley.
He's
a little gyration.
I actually liked how he held that thing for a long time. We need a guy like Malik Beasley off the bench.
Kings need a lot.
All right.
Right? Don't they? They need a lot. By the way, you've been saying that you'd like to see the Kings somehow get Herr Schroeder.
Yeah.
Would he be available? I'm asking.
He's a free agent.
Okay.
That's a free agent. I was thinking mid-level kind of guy for Sacramento.
I love him. I don't like the fit, but I have always been a fan. But I know you've been talking about him.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure what his contract status was.
Yeah, free agent. I don't think it'll cost a lot. Oh, that's an undercut. Yeah, that's
dirty play.
Yeah, that's dirty.
Yeah. Review it. You didn't take any glee in the Lakers losing, did you? Because you're kind of a LeBron guy.
No, I didn't take it. Not like.
See, I enjoyed it.
You know why I don't like it? You know why I don't like it? And it has nothing to do with the Lakers. It's more about LeBron. I don't like the LeBron discussion the day after a win or a loss, really.
Mm-hmm.
He wins the game. Oh, he's the best ever. He loses. Jordan would never do that. Like, that's the part I dread. I don't like the discussion surrounding. Honestly, the Lakers as an organization, I said this yesterday during my rant. I don't care about Jeannie Buss or Pelinka, but it's their fans that bother me.
Yeah.
But when it comes to LeBron, I don't like that everything he does, it's sort of a referendum on his career and his legacy.
Mm-hmm,
I hate that part of it.
Here's how the Lakers were humiliated last night. We'll get to the phones in just a second. Thanks for hanging. Before last night, NBA teams were 0-9 in history. They were 0-9 in forever when attempting 40 or more threes and making only 15% of them. They lost. Those teams lost by an average of more than 20 points per game. Last night, Minnesota was 7 for 47 on threes.
Not
they
supposed to win
the game because they dominated inside. Second chance points in the paint, rebounds. And a lot of that is because JJ Redick was very stubborn. He just wanted to play small and would not acknowledge that Gobert was destroying them just by virtue of the fact that he was bigger than everybody on the Lakers.
Yeah, it's the offensive rebounding killed them. 18. Rudy had 9 offensive rebounds, Whitey. He almost had a double-double with just offensive rebounds. And
there were a lot of offensive rebounds to be had because they shot the ball so poorly.
And in a game where Anthony Edwards only scores 15, if you're the Lakers, you're supposed to win that game. You're supposed to win that game. And I'm looking at, some of their numbers. They didn't shoot that well. 42%, 29.7.
Jay's guy, Austin Reeves, didn't have a great game, did he?
Yeah, he only had 12 points.
Or a series.
No, hold up. Didn't Jay tweet about this last night?
He did.
Let me pull that up.
Pull it up.
Yeah, let me see what Jay. I got to follow you first. Hold on here. All right, I got it. All right. Got it right here.
I'm going to block him.
19 hours ago, Jay tweets, the Lakers have been outcoached in this series. Wasn't even close.
Is that the check?
Nope, check. I'll give you that.
All right.
Boom. Yeah.
Wasn't even close.
Austin Reeves continues to be Average. Only receives the love he does because of the team he's on.
Only because he got a Laker jersey on. Series was horrendous.
Had a bad series. I think Austin Reeves is solid, Jay. That's where I disagree with you.
All right, okay.
Team USA,
You mean that secondary Team USA?
Yeah,
okay.
At the
yeah, I know. Jeff Van Gundy did it. I got you.
At the what's his name? The World Championships, FIBA World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, the dude averaged 20 points per game this year, bro.
Man, he ain't got nobody else on the squad.
Then the last thing, Lakers still will be dangerous moving forward because Nico dumbass move. Luka is a star, undeniably will attract others. You still believe in that?
Yeah. Lakers will forever get talent because they're the Lakers.
But they haven't been the free agent destination that they thought they'd be.
Because they haven't had the money to get that lately, which they don't sounds like right. This year they won't have the paper to do it either.
And they have, then Luka, if he accepts that extension, 4 years, $229, they might be cash strapped again.
But they continuously, now how'd they get Luka? They continuously get people they shouldn't. They find a way. The league finds a way.
They find a way. Yeah.
Sounds like 3 checks to me, fellas.
And LeBron gave him, free agent signing.
Right. LeBron will step out of a contract, allow somebody else to sign a contract, and then say, okay, yeah, you can give me what you want anyway. Yeah. Anyway it goes.
Do we need to take a quick time out, come back to the phones, or can I go to a call?
You can go to call.
Yeah, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Thank you, Jay. Jason on Sacktown Sports. Hey, Jason, what's up?
Hey, Whitey, why are you obsessed with Davion Mitchell? The dude was garbage. He was garbage on the Kings, garbage with the Raptors, garbage with the Heat.
No, he wasn't. Garbage on the Heat?
He was.
He's garbage on the Heat?
Okay, he performed a little bit, yes, in the playoffs. He was okay. But we traded him in 2024, and he had 3 years to show that he could play. And he sat behind. He was going to sit behind Keon Fox. We didn't know Fox was going to get traded at that point, and we got Carter. So yeah, we got rid of him because he didn't really show that he was.
Mike Brown didn't want to play him. Yeah, he's a good shooter and he defends, and those are things the Kings could use. Those are 2 things they can use more than anything. Jason is shooting and defense, and he brings those.
Kings fans sound like John Halliburton when he scored 8 points. Yay, yay, yay. Dude is ridiculous. I'm out.
Dang. See what he did to the tell. He said Kings fans, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I guess he's not a Kings
He's a
fan,
Laker.
Huh?
He's a Laker. It might be a Lake show.
Okay.
Warrior, keep your eye on him, Whitey.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
I will say this, though. And who was that caller?
That's Jason.
In defense of Jason, because I don't agree with him, but you say he's a good shooter. In Sacramento, 31.6, 32. And then it went up to 36.1. But then it really took off this past season, 39.8. And so over his time in Sacramento, he really wasn't a good shooter. He developed it. The problem is they didn't give him enough time to let it play out. Mm-hmm. They traded him away too soon. Like, let the guy get comfortable. Let him
That's
play.
what I'm saying.
And so, all right.
Yeah.
That's all I got on that.
And he did struggle mightily with his shot. And then he put in the work, like you said.
Yeah.
So, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll come right back, get to the phones, and look. We haven't talked about Shedeur Sanders at all. Do you want to talk about that at all? Or
You got something new on that?
Nothing new, but we haven't really talked about it. All right.
Let's see let's see if you can get me riled up.
That more when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the...
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Whitey here with another great grilling tip. The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 Connected Propane Grill with infrared side and rear burner featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings. Boop, boop. All from your smartphone with temperature probes and LCD display. You'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon Grills, simply the best.
The cards are lining up with Sky River Casino's $130,000 weekly Baccarat tournament. Every Thursday, now through June 26th, is your chance to share in $10,000 in prizes with a guaranteed weekly winner taking home $5,000 in prizes. Feeling lucky? Your first hand is on us. Visit skyriver.com for complete details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back for another thrilling season at Monterey's iconic WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, May 9th through the 11th. Only in Monterey can you experience a high-octane mix of international drivers, cutting-edge prototypes, and GT sports cars racing wheel to wheel. There'll be gourmet food, wine, craft beers, family entertainment, and exclusive fan engagement with the drivers in the open race paddock. Buy your tickets now and experience world-class motorsports. Visit WeatherTechRaceway.com.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
So Mark Williams gets the last laugh from the Charlotte Hornets, the guy that was traded to the Lakers, and the Lakers say failed the physical. And Mark Williams, last night after the Lakers were eliminated, posting to social media a little smiley emoji. How about that? Good for him.
Nah.
Good for him, Drapes.
Nah, Mark Williams, you need to sit this one out, bro. You can't do that, Whitey. You can't do that, because here's why. And somebody said it underneath. They said, dude, you play for the Charlotte Hornets. You can't laugh. It's like going to a club. You in the club for a couple of hours, get kicked out, and the dude that couldn't even get in the club is out there, laughing. Bro, I was just chilling in there for 2 to 3 hours. I saw all the pretty ladies, the fine drinks and everything. You out here hanging outside. You weren't even invited to the party.
Well, that's the thing. He knows that they are the ones that kicked him out of the club, and he would have helped them win. They needed him, and they decided, no, you failed your physical. We don't want you. And he's saying, okay, suit yourself. Could have used me. Because you know that. They could have used some size last night.
They could have. And you know who they could have used? Honestly, and he's old, I would have had brought in Dwight Howard, to be honest with you.
Really?
Not lob threat and can defend. I don't need much more than that. They didn't have any of that yesterday.
Yeah, I would have at least put Jackson Hayes in.
Yeah, even Jackson Hayes. Our boy Alex Len.
Yeah.
A couple minutes.
Right. Can anybody keep Rudy Gobert from getting every offensive rebound? That's what you do. Go out there. I don't care if you foul him every time.
Yeah.
But JJ was stubborn. That's one of the worst things a coach can be, is stubborn.
Yeah, it's I think if people say Luka, I think JJ really lost them the series. And who knows, they may have lost, but he did not put them in the best possible position to succeed. Yesterday was horrible coaching. The game before in game 4 was horrible coaching. And the thing about it, Whitey, look at the fourth quarters. That's where the Lakers fell apart every game.
I wonder why.
Right.
Yeah.
As a coach, you got to sense that. Like,
I know.
I can't have my guys playing 35 minutes going to the last quarter. And then, it just, yeah.
And then there's probably some Laker fans that are blaming Darvin Ham for all of that. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. TC is with us. It's time for Check It with TC. What's up, TC?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up?
What's up, TC?
How you doing?
Oh, man, vibing. Hey, check it out. So, what I got going on since the Lakers is first and foremost. Let's start here. The Lakers is always The Lakers is always getting a jug, right? They don't never spend in free agency. The league always helping them dudes out with a player deal, like a Luka for nothing. That's how they be getting their players, right? But since they got knocked out, okay, let's get a deal done. We're gonna do DeMar right? We're gonna do you right, bro. We're gonna send you home, send over Dalton and Rui. That's the deal. And then we can go after Nas Reed or the boy Crazy Eye Bobby Portis. That's making real moves, bro. Let's do it. That's all I got. I just want to be short and sweet. Doug's press conference is tomorrow. He going to get his assistant coaches in here, bro, and it's ready to rock and roll. That's all I got, but that's the trade I got, y'all. What y'all think?
All right, thank you, TC.
Okay, TC.
DeMar DeRozan to the Lakers for Rui. He said Rui and
Dalton Connect.
I would do that.
You do that? Okay.
And you both.
All right. What about?
Oh, that's the trade he said, Drake. Stick with it.
No. Because I want to see how far y'all go. I'm trying to see where y'all value DeMar. DeMar for Rui straight up.
Yes.
Yeah.
See?
Can I get a pick?
Oh, damn, y'all ready to give DeMar away for a rotation player?
I just want the pick. That's what I said. Can I get the pick?
I don't know about it. I don't think Lakers ain't got picks.
You're right.
Rui gives you length. I love Rui. He's not a great defender. And I don't need any more guys that aren't great defenders.
But he's better than DeMar defensively, though.
Uh-huh.
Right? I don't think Rui's a negative defender. He's just average defender. Our problem when we talked about this, we got too many negative defenders.
Right. You're right.
Like you could argue 3 of our starting 5 are negative defenders.
And teams, you could see that's one of the reasons the Kings, they give up so many threes. Teams know against the Kings, we get whatever we want.
Whatever. And they did.
Yeah.
And they did. Would you do a trade with the Lakers? Or is that blasphemous? Can't do that.
Well, you're going back to when the Kings wanted to trade Bibby to the Lakers for Jordan Farmar and Vladimir Radmanovic.
Glad they didn't do that.
And Mr. Gavin Malouf apparently shot
that one down, huh?
I want to trade Mike Bibby to the Lakers. Damn. Might not have been a bad trade. It was towards the end of Mike's run.
And who was it for? Vlad Radmanovic?
And Jordan Farmar. Yeah,
And both didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Radmanovic
was a pretty good shooter for a while.
All right. Unknown by most. League always helps out the Lakers.
Yes, they do.
How quickly we forgot the CP3 veto, Jay.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. I didn't say
that
it.
one time. How long the Lakers been around?
I'm just saying with unknown by most.
I could give you countless other trades. You got Magic thrown at you. You got Worthy given to you. Byron Scott, Coop, Kareem.
Damn.
Shaq. Kobe cried. I want to get out of here. Get out of here. Talking about Luau Deng. Man, please. Stop it. Kobe talking about he didn't want to go to Chicago because Luau Deng was coming back. Man, you Kobe Bryant. Stop crying.
How about this from the 209? Stockton. When Hachimura shoots a 3,
I thought you meant John Stockton.
He knows how to keep his foot off the damn line.
Yeah.
Ouch.
See, Drapes can't say, I want to trade this guy or that guy. He can't.
No, you can't do
we
that.
We understand.
Right. Exactly.
But you see how he skates in and says, what about this, guys? Would you do
I'm
this?
just throwing it out
what
there.
What about this, guys?
Just doing your job.
What about this on the text line?
I'm trying to keep
I
the
just
content
wanted to see what you
going.
thought.
Just trying to keep the content going. That's all.
Don't get me started. Pau Gasol was handed to him. Lamar Odom was given to the Lakers.
I'm not arguing that. The Stars somehow always find a way to L.A.
Will Chamberlain.
Will. Yep. You're right. Jamal Wilkes.
Come on,
Jamal
man.
Wilkes get there, right? Like
he's a free agent.
But Dwight Howard.
But the Lakers don't bring in all the free agents like they're supposed to now. And some of that's because of the new CBA. But, I think a lot of people assume the Lakers, they got LeBron, all the free agents are going to want to go there. And they really haven't.
Yeah. And I don't think.
Partly because they can't.
They can. And the days of LeBron attracting free agents are long gone, right?
I think so.
Like top
I don't even
tier.
know how long he's going to be there.
Top tier free agents. You might get some role players.
But Luka's there, though, fellas.
But that was your boy Nico.
He's hard to play with.
Yeah. You don't think other stars would gravitate to him?
Not necessarily. Just based on, look at a guy like Brunson.
Right.
How he flourished when he was away from Luka. Luka can be, just because he has a ball all the time. And, that's what I think drapes. I know it sounds like I'm taking a cheap shot at Luka.
A little bit.
Luka can be difficult to play with if you're a guy that wants yours.
Yeah. But how did Dallas work so well last year?
I think they got lucky, but
shit.
Because all the guys they acquired were big guys. They played off of Luka. Don't need the ball, right? The Gaffords.
But him and Kyrie worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kyrie took a step back.
And that's what you got to do, right? You got to do that.
Mm.
I thought LeBron did take a step back, and I thought that hurt the Lakers.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see that.
I think it was too much Luka on the ball. And then LeBron became a glorified role player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just the bigger issue for them was that roster was so wonky.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the Minnesota Timberwolves exposed. It was a flawed roster. Something we know all too much about here in the River City.
Flawed rosters?
Flawed rosters. Yeah, we're experts. It's like that B-52's song, Donna. Flawed roster. Yeah, we've had.
I don't know that one.
It's Rock Lobster.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right. We got time for me to be Jay tonight in this way back quiz?
I don't know. Just Jay, are you still competing against Draper, or have you moved on to
No, I'm gonna still smack him around a little bit.
All right. Jay's got a little streak going here. It's close to being a long streak.
Pushing towards a week here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll see what Drapes has to say about that. It's Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz for May the 1st next on Sacktown Sports. Flawed Buster.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Cooler Friday with an onshore breeze. Morning temperatures will be in the low 50s. Afternoon highs staying in the 70s in much of the valley. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
It's about time they
fixed that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. Like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Sky River Casino, Hop Valley Brewing, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Thought Buster! Yeah, Thought Buster! Time for Whitey's Wayback Machine Quiz for May 1st. Brought to you by Lee's Air, Plumbing, and Heating. Are you ready for the hot weather? Are you really? You may think you are. Are you? If you're not, leesair.com. They'll set you up. We have Jay Johnson, who's our reigning champion. I think that belt, the championship belt, has been around his waist so long. It's like we're going to have dominating. It surgically removed or something. But
he's dominating. Mm-hmm. He's on a roll right now.
When is the tournament starting? Can I get a date on it? Is it late May, June, summertime?
Yeah, we got to do something.
When's that tournament kick off?
You want to start it tomorrow?
No.
You don't want to start it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's playoffs and stuff right now.
We got to get real, like make it a big thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It'll take a couple weeks to put it together.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a June thing or something.
All right. Yeah. Definitely. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. How deep is this going to be?
Well, I was thinking 8.
Okay.
But
okay.
it may end up. I mean, we could
10.
From what people are saying when I ask them, we could do more.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But do they have to have already participated?
That's up to us.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I don't know, would you guys want it like if I had Brendan against somebody and you guys wouldn't be playing that?
Of course.
Are you guys
that's part of
fine.
it.
Yeah.
Got to seed them. Absolutely.
I know you guys were both fine coaches at one time. We did that.
You could do 6, you could do 10, and me and Jay get the bye or something like that, or do something like that. Yeah.
Jay might get a bye.
No,
he was working. I would be the top. I don't know about that now.
I think I've won more than you overall.
I don't know, man.
I'm kidding about that.
We'll have to go to the committee.
Yeah, the selection committee.
Yeah,
right. All right, Jay, you're up first here. We have this day, what year NBA? We have this day, what year in expansion? We have 1955. Also 1991, 1991, and 2000. So, yes, 2 1991s. This day, what year NBA? This day, what year expansion? 1955, 1991, 1991, and 2000.
Let's go Y2K.
2000. Barry Bonds.
Ooh.
This day, 2000, hit the first splash hit home run ever into McCovey Cove for the Giants. The count now stands at 105. Who is the only right-handed Giant to homer into McCovey Cove?
Really?
Rich Aurelia, Elliot Ramos, Pat Burrell.
Pat Burrell.
Pat Burrell's not correct. What do you think, Drapes? This day, 2000, Barry Lamar Bonds hit the first splash hit home run ever into McCovey Cove. The Giants, well, the number now is 105.
I think it's Ramos.
It's Rich Aurelia.
The only right-handed Giant to homer in the water. You're saying it's Rich Aurelia, Elliot Ramos. You're saying
Ramos.
You are correct.
Yes.
It happened last year. I was there.
Really? I feel like I just remember hearing that.
Yeah. That was a trick question because I don't watch the Giants.
It's a baseball question. That's up your alley there.
He did it off our guy Suarez too.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like I remember hearing that last year.
I went with Pat Burrell because he was a strongman guy.
Sure.
A lot of people say
that's why I put him in. All right, 1-0. Drapes. You
NBA, baby.
This day, what year in the NBA?
Yes.
Okay. You get to hear it, of course. Yeah.
Go up 2-0.
With 55 points in a Game 2 win over Cleveland.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan becomes the first to score 50 or more in consecutive playoff games. This day, what year? He had 55 in a Game 2 win over Cleveland. That made him the first to score 50 or more in consecutive playoff games. This day, what year?
I'll let Jay go first.
What do you think, Jay?
I think it's 19. It was read the question one more time.
You got it.
Yeah.
This date, what year? 55 points in a Game 2 win over Cleveland. MJ becomes the first to score 50 or more in consecutive playoff games. What year did that happen?
Dang.
KD with a 1-0 lead today. Just getting
I'm
started.
gonna go.
Flip a chair.
I'm gonna go 88.
That's correct.
I knew it. I was like, I thought he was going to say 90-something. I was going to have him.
He's got it.
Nice work, Jay. Nice work.
Well done. Back to you, Jay. It's 1-1. This date, what year in expansion? 1955, 1991, and 1991.
91-8.
91-8. It's the closest to.
The Drapes
go first. Yeah.
All right, Drapes. This day, 1991, Ricky Henderson breaks Lou Brock's all-time Major League stolen base record with steal number 939. Gave that famous speech, which I gave around my wife and kids every time I fix something around the house. Lou Brock's a great base stealer, but today I am the greatest of all time. In 25 seasons, how many steals per year did Ricky average?
Whoa.
Read the question again.
You got it. This date, 1991, Ricky became baseball's all-time leading stolen base guy with number 939, and then he played after that. In 25 seasons, how many steals per year did Ricky average?
What year did he break that record?
91.
91.
Yeah,
Damn.
Played for a long time.
Yeah, he did.
Man, he was killing it. I have no idea.
Was his average year, Baseball Reference have 162 game average.
And then you average it out.
Yeah, 162 game average, yeah.
Damn, I have no idea. That's tough. Damn it, Jay. I'm going to go with.
And just to be clear,
trying to do some quick math here.
162 game average.
Yeah.
He didn't play necessarily 162 games every year.
Right.
Oh.
So for an average of 162 games.
Okay, so that's a difference right there, Whitey. That's a big difference.
I didn't want
162 games. Okay.
For every 162 games, what did he average stolen bases?
So forever. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically every season.
Yeah, every season.
59.
59? Jay, what do you think? Ricky's average steals per year. On this anniversary of the day he became baseball's
I don't know.
I'm gonna say 60 because I remember with the Padres and stuff, he still stole like 50.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 60, one above him.
The answer is an
70
astonishing
something.
74.
That's
really?
right. I was gonna say 76.
That dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say 76 was gonna be my guess.
He had 130.
Yeah, 125. Yeah. And remember at the end, he had like 54, 56, and they were like, oh, that's a terrible year.
Damn.
Yeah, he was moving.
He was killing it.
Yeah. Jay, you got the 2-1 lead. KD, you're up here. This date, what year in expansion? 1955 and 1991. 1991. Nolan Ryan on the same day that Ricky broke Lou Brock's record. Nolan Ryan throws his record 7th no-hitter.
Wow.
This date, 1991. By the way, this is pardon me, it's a closest to.
Oh, Jake,
yeah, so my apologies.
Yeah.
Jay, this date, 1991, Nolan Ryan throws his record 7th no-hitter.
Just age?
No, it wasn't his age. In what year did he throw his first?
Ooh, damn,
you gotta go back.
Nolan Ryan is 7th no-hitter this day, 1991. And what year did he throw his first
no-hitter? It was first one in 1981.
1981. Drapes?
1980.
It's 1973.
Yeah!
I didn't think he threw one that early in his career.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I remember him in the 80s.
He pitched forever.
Yeah, he did. He threw for 30 years almost.
Yeah. It's 2-2.
We got a game here.
Yeah. And Jay, you're
Jay's
up.
up.
This day, what year in expansion? In 1955.
1955.
It's the closest to.
Damn. All right. Drapes goes first.
Okay.
Drapes, Bob Feller of Cleveland throws a one-hitter this day, 1955. He and Nolan Ryan share the record for most one-hitters pitched in a career with how many?
Come on, Whitey. How the hell is it supposed to know that? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Bob Feller threw a one-hitter. He has a record for one-hitters in his career. He shares it with Nolan Ryan. How many one-hitters did they each throw in their career?
25. I have no idea, man. I have no idea.
No way. That's 24.
It's 12.
Yeah.
All right.
In the teens somewhere.
Yeah. I thought Nolan, 30 years pitching, maybe,
Last one.
Last one.
It's on me or Drapes? It's on Drapes, huh?
Drapes this day, what year in expansion?
Oh, expansion.
Dallas is granted an expansion team, an NBA expansion team, which will be known as the Mavericks. This day, what year? Now that you've heard it, you can go first.
Yeah, Jay can go first.
Jay, Dallas granted an expansion team, which will be known as the Mavs. This day, what year?
Damn, does this be the ABA too?
It's an NBA expansion team.
NBA expansion team?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1982.
1982. Drapes?
81?
It was 1980.
That was close, Shay. We got a tie, but Jay keeps the belt.
Tie game.
Jay keeps the belt.
Yeah. Stick around. Let's tee it up for golf to go next on Sacktown Sports.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. A CGM can immediately reduce pain. It's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Plus, get free shipping, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. Call now to receive your new continuous glucose monitor at little or no out-of-pocket cost.
Paid for by U.S. Medical Supply.
Call 800-611-6638. That's 800-611-6638. Again, 800-611-6638. That's 800-611-6638.
Ralph Barbosa.
I just don't like going to church, man. I don't like the people there. Like, if those are the people that are going to be hanging out in heaven, I just go to hell.
Renee Vaca.
I'm Mexican, though, man. Stereotypical Mexican. When Donald Trump called us drug dealers, though, all right, he got his eye.
The Butterfly Effect Tour, Friday, May 23rd, the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Ralph Barbosa and Renee Vaca.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Hey, Marvel fans, get ready for the next heroes to hit the largest screen in Sacramento with Thunderbolts, the IMAX experience, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown.
You thought you were going to be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Filmed for IMAX, the best place to immerse yourself in Marvel's Thunderbolts is on the Esquire IMAX 6